Hello everybody and welcome to Sin City Living. My name is Jason. I'll be bringing you today's episode. As always, we want to thank all of our fans, our sponsors, our patrons. We appreciate all of your guys' support. Everyone that's bought us a cup of coffee, been greatly appreciated. We've had a rough couple of weeks here in the family, been out of work for a week and a half, coming up on 2 weeks thanks to our old friend COVID running through us. I don't want to take up a whole lot of time with the usual spiel, so all of you guys that are interested in what's going on with Sin City Living and what we plan on doing in the future with our live streams and upcoming events, please stick around to the end of the video or skip to the end of the video and watch. I will put most of that stuff in the ending spiel, and I will try and update it every week or two with more news. Otherwise, that being said, we're just going to go ahead and jump straight into today's video.
And for today's email, I want to answer an email, or today's email. For today's video, I want to answer an email that I received. This email comes from Jason, and he is asking about just some different strategies. Typically, he says he plays place bets, a little bit of iron cross here and there, although tries not to live with the iron cross strategy, which is good because as we've shown, the iron cross strategy by itself is actually extraordinarily weak. Iron cross really only starts to become good as soon as you get into some power pressing or mid pressing or expanding out the iron cross. It's not so good by itself. Just same bet everything, and you're not looking at having a very good time. So let's see. And he also says that he is looking to just play a few shorter sessions. So, win a little bit here, a little bit there, maybe leave with a couple $100 or so. So definitely not looking to get his tail kicked. Now, what he doesn't mention is what his buy-in may be, what his bankroll is. He also doesn't mention the table minimums that he is likely to be playing on. If he's on the strip, very likely could be hitting $25 or $50 minimum bet tables. If he's a little bit away from center strip but still on the strip, probably not going to find anything cheaper than a $15 to $25 table. Off the strip, now you might be able to find some 10s and 15s. Definitely not going to find any $5 tables, but definitely can find some 10s and 15s when you're pretty far off the strip. If you're downtown, say Fremont Street, if you're lucky, you might find a $15 table, but chances are it's going to be 25s as well. So let's see, what kind of strategies would you be looking for? Well, you already said the iron cross, which you don't want to live and die on, which is fantastic. The iron cross is definitely not the hill to die on. It's got a lot of glaring weaknesses. It's got a lot of strengths, but it's got a lot of glaring weaknesses that don't really show up until you look at it and realize just how fantastic of a roll you need just to break even. So in this particular case, since he's only looking to play for 30 minutes or so, right? Let me look at that again. 30 to 60 minutes. So he's looking to play for basically one revolution of the dealers. So one hour revolution of the dealers. So this could be 30 to 60 minutes. Could be anywhere from 3 or 4 shooters up to 15 shooters. So again, not knowing what kind of bankroll he's working with, it's really tough to say. But since you're looking for a shorter session and to come in, hit the tables, and pop back out, one, always the power press. The power press is always an excellent choice when you're just coming in for a brief period of time. The problem with the power press is you're also very likely to lose all your money. So let's look at some other options. Mid press, of course. Now since he does mention the iron cross, I'm assuming he doesn't want to be going 160 across or 270 across, or 320 across, including a point. Not looking to do stuff like that. So possibly an inside. You could do an inside bet. Let's say you're on a quarter table. You can certainly do 110 inside, include the point if the point is on the inside. If the point is not on the inside, then you don't have to worry about it. But if it is on the inside, you do have to say you're including. So you could do 110 inside. And now if you're on a $25 table, now you just have to go to a mid press. You're still going to collect. You're basically going to collect at the minimum a green every single hit. So for, you'd collect $23 here since you have to throw in $2, but
Go with the mid-press method. Take these up to 42, then 60, then 90, then 150, and then however you want to do it. Take these up to 35 or 36, then 50, then 75, then 125, and then keep going from there as well, however you feel comfortable. So that's one option. There's one option. It's going to give you a decent little run within, if you manage to get 4 hits, if you manage to get all 4 numbers hit once each, you come real close to breaking even because you make 23, 23, 25, 25. So you'll come close to breaking even on your 110 inside. What's that going to give you? $96? So pretty close. You lose 14. You're still 14 in the hole. Which means that if you just catch a decent roll, 6 or 7 rolls of the dice, you're in the positive. You've made money. And at that point, that's when you go ahead and expand it out to a 4 and 10. And then continue on with your mid-press or however you choose to play it. Another option, and again, I don't know the bankroll that you're working with. So I have to make a few guesses here. So another option, if your bankroll is big enough, then absolutely what you do is you go ahead and do a 320 across, including the point. Only this time, make it a regression strategy. Anything hits. I won't worry about the 4 and 10. Those would pay you $98. We'll go with these because they pay you the same and they also pay you the lowest. Okay. So anything hits, you get paid $70. You say go ahead and take me down to 160 across including. Okay. So you start out with 320 across. And you've got 230 sitting right there. So you made back a little bit of money. And you still have all of the placements. Other option for that is take it to 2 hits and then regress. Or, this is another kind of bolder move, but I do see this sort of strategy get played every so often. Just regress individual numbers. Say the 6 hits. Regress it down to 30. Got $100 sitting right there. You started out with 320 across, right? Now you regress it to 30. Now let's say the 9 hits. Okay, so we'll give them 5 for 75. Regress that down. And now you're sitting on $195 back up in your bankroll. And at this point, you could take your bets down to your 160 across including, and you're pretty close to breaking even at this point. You've made $140 in profit. You're only $20 invested into the roll. So that is also an option. When you're looking at these shorter rolls, you're looking at shorter times to play, regression strategies start to become a lot more viable. Not a huge fan of the regression strategies myself because it puts you behind when it turns out you're on an exceptional roll, but it does have a place. It does have a place, and when you're looking to just play for 30 to 60 minutes, there's absolutely nothing wrong with the regression strategy, especially since you're just trying to make a little bit of money. You're not trying to break the bank. So thank you very much, Jason, for the email. I hope this answers your questions, and thank you everybody else for watching. We will catch you guys next time. Bye now.
Okay, everybody, and as promised, all the usual blah blah that I try and do at the beginning of the video, we're going to go ahead and put near the end of the video. And here we go. So thank you, everybody, for your usual patronage. All of you that are patrons of ours, we very, very much appreciate it. Thank you, everybody who's been buying us a cup of coffee. Love to say it's going to coffee right now, but this month with the entire family out for COVID, it's honestly going to Bill's and probably the kid's birthday in a week. But we definitely appreciate it. We're going to continue working on these live streams. I know you guys have seen some of them popping up. Just got to figure out the look of it, and some of the audio is still giving me issues. But hopefully we'll be getting those live streams and the craps tournaments going as soon as possible. Really just going to depend on scheduling. My schedule changed, Amy's schedule changed, kids' school schedule is fun. So once we figure out exactly how all those schedules are going to work, we'll let everybody know. And otherwise, please continue emailing us with anything you would like to see videoed. And again, thank you everybody for tuning in. We appreciate every single one of you guys. We'll catch you next time. Bye now. Hello everybody and welcome to Sin City Living. My name is Jason. I'll be bringing you today's episode. As always, we want to thank all of our fans, our sponsors, our patrons. We appreciate all of your guys' support. Everyone that's bought us a cup of coffee, been greatly appreciated. We've had a rough couple of weeks here in the family, been out of work for a week and a half, coming up on 2 weeks, thanks to our old friend COVID running through us. I don't want to take up a whole lot of time with the usual spiel, so all of you guys that are interested in what's going on with Sin City Living and what we plan on doing in the future with our live streams and upcoming events, please stick around to the end of the video or skip to the end of the video and watch. I will put most of that stuff in the ending spiel, and I will try and update it every week or two with more news. Otherwise, that being said, we're just going to go ahead and jump straight into today's video. So for today's video, I want to show you guys the downside of superstition, of some superstitions. Absolutely nothing wrong with being a superstitious player. There's a lot of little things that don't impact the game. It can actually make it a little bit more fun for you or just kind of enhance it, and it's fine. What you run into sometimes are superstitions that actually slow down the game. Slow down the game or really irritate the dealers and the box. You know, one or the other. And this is a real player, real strategy. Thank you everybody, by the way, for the coffees. Very appreciated. You guys helped us out a lot. And we'll start showing you guys moving forward what coffees we can buy. And please, guys, email us with some strategies that you've seen or have questions about, or just any questions. We love shooting videos for you guys. It's a lot of fun. Or just any video ideas. If you guys want to see a certain crossfire or see us talk about a certain subject, please email me. So this player, he's got a number of different superstitions that come into play. One of the problems with this player is he thinks he's basically hot crap and thinks he's, the big dog because he buys in for, a medium decent amount, a few thousand. So he thinks he's a big dog and he acts like a real showman. He's a real attention whore, absolute attention whore. Just wants everybody to be looking at him. So the first really odd superstition that comes up that doesn't impact us because he's actually really patient with this part. He does understand some of his stuff can slow things down. He won't buy into the middle of a roll because, again, he's superstitious. Nothing wrong with that. Absolutely cool because he will wait to play. But he buys in with just an oddball dollar amount. It's a very, very strange dollar amount that he buys in with. And it's mostly, he typically buys in with a certain amount. I'm not going to give the exact amount because I don't want to call out a very specific player. But it's basically, he buys in, like I said, for thousands. But his amount actually goes all the way down to the tens digits. So it'd be the equivalent of like buying in for $3,440 or $3,470, right? Every single time. Now his strategy is really, really bad. So I think I've seen him win maybe twice ever, and it requires an extreme amount of luck. He actually should be playing roulette. And then he ends up giving it back. So oftentimes on his trips, he will end up running low. And I can tell that while the primary superstition exists there of this specific dollar amount that he always does, like I said, as an example, we'll say $34.70. But if he starts running low on cash, then he will adjust his buy-in, but he will stick with that same theme. So maybe he buys in for $14.70, $4.70, but always that very oddball amount. So we have to sit there and count it down, but he doesn't mind the dice going while we count the money down. He's very patient in that aspect. So where do his other superstitions come into play that really impact the game? Well, the first thing is his primary strategy. He will, on occasion,
do place bets on occasion, but they're not his primary strategy. He doesn't play him every single roll, and I would even say 50% of the rolls. His primary strategy deals with hops. He hops constantly. Again, he should be playing roulette. You have almost the same odds. The payouts are much, 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 much better. I have a friend of mine that's a floor that was curious the other day and ran the math on it, and the house edge, if you're hopping, versus the house edge for craps versus playing roulette with, again, almost the exact same odds but much better payouts, is almost double. The house edge is almost double. People that primarily do hops, you should be playing roulette. And he hops a lot, but he throws them in. First off, he throws them in individually. So let's say he wants to hop the three-way six. So he'll say, let me hop the three-way six. Okay, you've got $45 three-way six. Okay, it's $15 per number on the two easy sixes and the hard six. Then after he has thrown that in, then he'll say, and give me a two-way 10. Okay, got a two-way 10. Now, there are a lot of rolls, I'd say 1 in 3 rolls, where he'll throw in, say, $30. We'll set it up. Then he'll throw in $20. We'll set it up. Then he'll throw another green in and say, press them both. And it's like, why didn't you just throw that in to begin with? But again, he likes to be looked at. He likes to make the spectacle so that everyone's seen him throw in these chips and see what a brilliant player he is and how well he knows the game and so on and so forth. Now, where the superstitions start slowing the game down is when something hits. When something hits, right, let's say over here, this $15 or the $30 two-way 10. So you got 15 per number. Let's say an easy 10 rolls. Okay, an easy 10 rolls. Now he has $75 in action here. So we would pay him $165. We would say give him $165. But no, not him. What this chowderhead has to do is, I want to come down. Okay, so we'll pay him $240 and down, right? So we'll pay him $240 and down. We'll give it to him. I want you guys to look at the setup, okay? 30 and 45. $240 and come down. The very next thing he will do, let me get a three-way 8. Okay, so we're back to the 45. And now it's an 8. And two-way 9. Okay, two-way 9. So instead of saying, switch my bets to a 6 and 8, from a 6 to an 8 and a 10 to a 9, he takes them down and then string bets, throws them in again. We have learned him, and we know that he's superstitious about this. We know that he's going to take it down to come right back up with the exact same dollar amount. And basically identical bets, just shifting numbers. We know it's going to happen. So it doesn't matter if someone else is shooting and really wants the dice quick. We have a few players that like that. Once we give him the 240 and down, we stop and wait. The dealers will just stand there. Because we know that he's throwing in the exact same money that he just took down, only he's going to switch the numbers around. We know. So we just wait. The shooter's like, give me the dice, give me the dice. Hold on. We got a bet coming. We got a string bet coming. Because again, he's going to throw it in 2 or 3 bets. He's going to throw this in 2 or 3 tosses. That way, people can look at him. People can notice him. He does the exact same thing on, say, come-out rolls, where he might do a C&E or an 11 or an 11-12. You know, he does random stuff on the come-out rolls, and he'll do the exact same thing. Something hits, and he will say, take me down, and then he will come right back up, just shifting us. And sometimes he comes right back up with the same bet, by the way. He will do, say, a $20 C&E. The crap hits. He says, 80 and down. Okay, so we take him down, we give him his $80, we take his $20 bet down, and he immediately throws $20 in and says, C&E. The exact same bet. He does the same thing with the hopper sometimes. You know, let's say he's got his 3-way 6, and let's say he did a $20 2-way 4. Okay? So let's say the 4 hits. $160 and down, right? Or 95 and keep his bets up. But we know better than to pay him 95. We'll look at it. We'll stop. The dice will just stop. We'll stop, and we'll look at him and say, coming down? Yeah. Well, yeah, take me down, 160 and down. Again, he likes to show people that he knows the payouts and stuff. So we'll give him his 160. We'll take this down, and he will throw in $45 and say 3-way 6. Then he'll throw in $20 and say 2-way 4. He will throw in the exact same bet that he just took down.
I see when he's playing, I see a lot of players leave the table after a little while because it's so annoying and slows the game down so much. So I hope you guys find this interesting. This is just, I guess, more of a story than a strategy or anything like that. But I hope you guys find this interesting. Thank you very much for watching. We will catch you guys next time. Bye now. Okay, everybody, and as promised, all the usual blah blah that I try and do at the beginning of the video, we're going to go ahead and put near the end of the video. And here we go. So thank you, everybody, for your usual patronage. All of you that are patrons of ours, we very, very much appreciate it. Thank you, everybody who's been buying us a cup of coffee. Love to say that it's going to coffee right now, but this month with the entire family out for COVID, it's honestly going to Bill's and probably the kid's birthday in a week. But we definitely appreciate it. We're going to continue working on these live streams. I know you guys have seen some of them popping up. Just got to figure out the look of it, and some of the audio is still giving me issues. But hopefully we'll be getting those live streams and the craps tournaments going as soon as possible. Really just going to depend on scheduling. My schedule changed, Amy's schedule changed, kids' school schedule is fun. So once we figure out exactly how all those schedules are going to work, we'll let everybody know. And otherwise, please continue emailing us with anything you would like to see videoed. And again, thank you everybody for tuning in. We appreciate every single one of you guys. We'll catch you next time. Bye now. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Sin City Living. My name is Jason. I'll be bringing you today's episode. As always, we want to thank all of our fans, our sponsors, our patrons. We appreciate all of your guys' support. Everyone that's bought us a cup of coffee, been greatly, greatly, greatly appreciated. We've had a rough couple of weeks here in the family, been out of work for a week and a half, coming up on 2 weeks, thanks to our old friend COVID running through us. I don't want to take up a whole lot of time with the usual spiel, so all of you guys that are interested in what's going on with Sin City Living and what we plan on doing in the future with our live streams and upcoming events, please stick around to the end of the video or skip to the end of the video and watch. I will put most of that stuff in the ending spiel, and I will try and update it every week or two with more news. Otherwise, that being said, we're just going to go ahead and jump straight into today's video. So for today's video, we want to answer an email from Angelo. Angelo sent us this email. Thank you, by the way, for sending this email to us. Everybody else out there, please send us some emails. We love to shoot videos based on what you're looking for, or just based on suggestions from you guys, strategies, questions, things like today's video. And thank you, everybody, for the coffee. It's very appreciated. Now, his video is not dealing with a strategy. What he's asking about are one of our favorite subjects, or the one that we've talked about on the channel before, but we don't go too deep into it too often, and it's superstitions. Superstitions. He has a few questions on superstitions, but they're not like what kind of superstitions are there or anything like that, because there's just so many of them. Craps is the most superstitious game. A close second would be Baccarat, but craps is by far the most superstitious game. People think that these dice are sentient. At times, it's absolutely crazy. So his first question is what are some of the just the oddest or craziest or strangest superstitions that we have seen? And wow, I mean, there's just so many superstitions. It's hard to say. I mean, so many players do some just really, really oddball stuff. Now, some of the more common ones, of course, are people that seem to think that every time the dice go off the table, it's going to be a 7 coming up next. So they turn all their bets off. Common one, no big deal, not a problem. Another one would be things like every time the dice hit the chips, or every time the dice go tall, or if somebody puts their hands out, even though the dice don't hit it, or make the shooter double pump. There's just, or if we have to say something to the shooter, people throw a fit and we have to tell them to hit the back wall, and then they throw 7 out. Here's the thing with just about anything that happens: dice going off the table, dice hitting the chips, box having to tell the shooter something about their shot. When the next roll is a 6, you don't remember it. When the next roll is a 7, it sticks out in your head. So an hour later, you remember the 7 right after something happened. You don't remember the 5 times something happened and the next roll was a 6 or an 8 or a 5. So in your head, it starts to seem like, oh, it's always a 7. No, that's just always what you remember. All right. But the superstitions that craps dealers hate the most are the ones that either slow the game down, because again, we want a quick game, not so much for us, but for the players. That's what most of the players want. They want a quick, efficient, flowing game. So the superstitions that slow the game down, those are going to be some of the ones that we absolutely hate the most, or the ones where the player yells at the dealers. Any superstitions that force the player to yell at the dealers is obviously going to annoy the dealers. There's one player that, luckily, he has actually stopped doing this, but for years, he would, once the dice landed, whatever the number may be, he would throw a fit if on any side of the dice that becomes visible to him as the dice gets slid to him, he can see a combination that leads up to 7. If he can see any kind of 7 based on any of these numbers on the sides, whatever, he would throw a fit. Make us string the dice back, roll the dice, possibly dump the bowl, so on and so forth. It was annoying because it would very much slowed the game down. Plus, he'd go off on the dealers, and we're like, dude, we call the tops, we don't call the sides. So, I'm sorry, but we're not looking at every side of the dice when we're bringing the dice out. It's just not going to happen. It's just plain and simple. And then the only other one that I can say that really, really, really annoys the dealers are superstitions that deal with shooting. All right, most people that have this big, long, drawn-out ritual when they're shooting the dice, there's some people that as soon as they get the dice, they got to they lean into the table, put their head right against the dice, shake them a few times, and then they're looking at it super close and super intense and all that. That's actually not a superstition as far as we're concerned. That's an attention whore. That's someone that's just wants people looking at him, wants to make a big production out of it, wants to look like he's some kind of pro or really knows what he's doing, or really intense, and he's just so into the role, and it makes us laugh, makes us roll our eyes a little bit, but we don't consider it a superstition. But there's some players that have these rituals that are very, very, very much superstition. Things like the flying V, that's not really a superstition thing. That just makes us roll our eyes. But players that do they gotta do a 3, 4, or 5 or a 6 hit, and then they gotta do two spins of the dice, and then they gotta stack it up, and then they gotta flip it over, and then they gotta run their hands around it twice, and then they gotta tap their chips. And then they throw it. We're just over there like, oh my God, get to it. So those are really the two main superstitions that are most going to irritate the dealers. And again, any other superstition that impacts the game for the other players, is going to irritate the dealers. I can't think of too many superstitions that actually impact our job. Make it harder for us to do what we're doing, except for those players that do the things like hot bets, take me down, and then they come right back up with the exact same dollar amount, either the exact same bet or something different. That's just, again, it's slowing the game down. It's also slowing the dealers down. Those are kind of irritating. But and now the second part of his question, what kind of superstitions, what superstitions make the dealers laugh internally? And I have to say, it kind of goes back to what I just said. Those ones that deal with this big, long ritual. I know another player, I know a few players actually like this, but one that's really bad, that seriously, I'm not exaggerating, thinks the dice are intelligent. He thinks the dice are intelligent, and he thinks the dice have muscles so that they can, choose which numbers they land on. For instance, he thinks that if he can convince the dice that he was going to bet in the field that they're going to roll a non-field number, like a 6 or an 8, a 5, 6, or 8. So as the shooter is got the dice in their hand and cocking back to throw it, this player will, with no chips in his hand, will go 2 or 3 times, even while the dice are in the air, just to fool the dice into thinking that he was betting the field. So he thinks, 1, that the dice are intelligent, 2, that the dice have muscles and are able to land on whatever numbers they want, and 3, that the dice only care about him and what he's betting. So yes, that makes us laugh. That makes us laugh a lot. In our heads, of course, but it does. It makes us crack up. I know another player that seems to think that even though he's not shooting, if he does this in the air, that it's going to convince the dice to roll a different number. It's just really strange, and that's the really, really strange ones are going to make us roll our eyes. Man, I can't remember what the third part of his question was. Let me see if I can bring up the email. There was a third part on his superstitions. Okay, so which ones make us laugh? Oh, so his second and his third question really are the same. What are the strangest superstitions we've seen, and what makes us laugh? They're the same things. Those ones, basically the superstitions that seem based around these dice being sentient, is going to make the dealers internally laugh, and they're definitely very, 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 very strange superstitions. We have to wonder if this person went to school back in the 1600s in some cabin in the woods. Thank you very, very much for the email. I hope you guys find this interesting, illuminating, enlightening. I know this was mostly just me talking. Thank you, everybody, for watching again. We will catch you next time. Bye now.
Okay, everybody, and as promised, all the usual blah blah that I try and do at the beginning of the video, we're going to go ahead and put near the end of the video. And here we go. So thank you, everybody, for your usual patronage. All of you that are patrons of ours, we very, very much appreciate it. Thank you, everybody who's been buying us a cup of coffee. Love to say it's going to coffee right now, but this month with the entire family out for COVID, it's honestly going to Bill's and probably the kid's birthday in a week. But we definitely appreciate it. We're going to continue working on these live streams. I know you guys have seen some of them popping up. Just got to figure out the look of it, and some of the audio is still giving me issues. But hopefully we'll be getting those live streams and the craps tournaments going as soon as possible. Really just going to depend on scheduling. My schedule changed, Amy's schedule changed, kids' school schedule is fun. So once we figure out exactly how all those schedules are going to work, we'll let everybody know. And otherwise, please continue emailing us with anything you would like to see videoed. And again, thank you, everybody, for tuning in. We appreciate every single one of you guys. We'll catch you next time. Bye now.
Welcome, everybody, to Sin City Living. My name is Jason, and I'll be bringing you today's episode. As always, please hit those like and subscribe buttons. We have a ton of content for you guys coming out every single week, every single day, generally. Occasionally miss a day like I did during the rodeo that is still ongoing right now. And I hope all of our patrons out there are appreciating the patron-only exclusive videos we're putting out with the dice class, putting one out every couple of weeks. And if you're curious about that, go ahead and check the description down below. Once I get this whole live stream thing figured out, I'm probably going to do a live stream on the patron site as well. One on the regular site, one on the patron site. I do have the new computer for it. Theoretically, I have everything ready. I'm just so busy currently with this rodeo. And one of our fans asked a question a little while back about ways to tip us, to show appreciation to us without having to sign up as one of our patrons. And at the time, we did not have any way of doing it, but I have managed now to get us signed up with a site called Buy Me a Coffee. As I'm sure some of you guys have noticed from some of our videos, Louie and I are both pretty heavy coffee drinkers. So if you're curious about that as well, go ahead and check down below in the description as well. We would definitely appreciate any cups of coffee you're willing to pick up for us. And don't forget to email us with any strategies, questions, suggestions, anything at all. We love shooting those videos for you guys. I actually haven't gotten a new email in about 2 weeks. And also, don't forget, anybody that may be interested in one of the small Sin City Living neons that we have, just email us that as well, sincityliving.lv@gmail.com. Otherwise, going to go ahead and get into today's episode. So for today's video, we're going to do a quick little crossfire episode, and we're going to talk about Sin City Living. We're going to talk about the channel and what we've done so far, what we plan on doing, what we hope to eventually do, our motivations. So, and this kind of comes off of one of our fans, I think it was Tio, that sent a bunch of questions to me, and then Louie also shot a video off of the same questions. And it kind of got me thinking about just how this started. So it's actually kind of funny, and I mentioned this in my video, but we used to be associated with another YouTube channel, filmed a few videos for it. They were actually really popular, although they did end up getting taken down and kind of revamped, and we're not associated with them anymore. They're good people. We just had different ways of looking at things, different ways of doing things, so we just kind of split off. And so Louis contacts me during the lockdown, after the lockdown.
No, we contacted during the lockdown too.
Well, yeah, but I mean, you brought this up after the lockdown, because I remember the stocks that I had done is what
Okay,
was going on. So
gotcha.
Louis asked me if I had thought about doing it, and I brushed him off. Like, no, not really, too expensive. And then it just got me thinking, and thinking, and thinking. And then I just took a look, and as I mentioned in the other video, when we first locked down, I had a little bit of spare cash, a few $100,
right,
and I sank it into some stocks, some casino stocks, because when the lockdown happened, like MGM stock went from 35 a share down to 5 and under. So I invested a few hundred into various casino stocks, just knowing they were going to go. Eventually, we were going to reopen. And I figured the big ones were going to be fine, and they would have the money to reopen. So when I really started thinking about it, probably because I remember we started this we started buying things in December. So I really started thinking about it probably around November. So these stocks have just been sitting there for 5 months, and the casinos have been reopened for 3 or 4 months at this point. And I took a look at them, and a few $100 had turned into a few thousand.
Whew.
And coincidentally, all the equipment that we needed to actually start the channel happened to be a few thousand. A little bit more than a few thousand, but Louis also had some money that he was able to split off.
Right.
So we said, the hell with it. We started buying stuff, figuring out how we were going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
We buy equipment and go, yeah, this ain't going to work. And we have to buy more equipment. Or we'd get the craps table set up and go, we don't have enough chips. So let's order some more chips.
Yeah.
And
I remember you had you had like 2 briefcases. I brought a briefcase, and then we had to get more briefcases.
And plus we had all the old ones we had from when we were practicing.
Yep.
So then we started the channel and figured, let's see what happens. They say it's about 2-year average to hit the 1,000 subscribers, and we ended up doing it in about 6 months.
Yeah.
But even that was kind of funny, because we started out with just a few videos.
Yeah.
And we posted them up, and as I mentioned in the other video, when it comes to things like editing, I know sometimes we get comments about the volume or the editing. And
Right.
Again, I work 40 hours a week. He works 40 hours a week. Got a wife, kids. This channel takes me 20, 30 hours a week. Being able to learn how to professionally edit, I mean, we learned some very, very, very bare bones basic editing. Got some very basic programming.
I think in the early on videos, you could tell whether you edited something or whether I edited something. You could tell.
Yeah, now I do all the editing.
Now he does all the editing. Yeah.
So it just the bare bones, what we could learn, and then put out a few videos, and we're just watching, and we got a few subscribers because of friends, family, stuff like that.
Right, word of mouth.
We're watching, and
nothing's really happening. It's like, what's going on? So then I
Right.
kind of did an experiment, and I put up, because I was putting up like 3 videos a week, or 2 videos a week. So I did an experiment, I put up a video a day. And all of a sudden our views shot up. And our subscribers, we started getting a few more subscribers every day. So then I tried putting up 2 videos a day. And then I started really learning how to use the analytics and stuff like that. And we discovered, I was able to find the days that had the most viewers, and we just target those. That's why you guys notice, like on the weekends, there's only 1 video, sometimes no video. And that's simply because on the weekends, we have the least amount of people watching the channel. So
Right.
we save our best stuff for Sunday night, then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, somewhat on Thursday. But yeah, we did hit our 1,000 subscribers, which was a huge milestone.
Oh, yeah.
Very quickly. I'm sure you guys noticed that there are ads. There were ads on the channel actually before we hit the 1,000 subscribers.
Yeah.
We just didn't get anything out of it. So
Right.
we did a little bit of a cut of that. We're still pretty deep in the hole. We definitely haven't made a profit
No.
on the channel. But that doesn't
No, but it's all right.
We're just
We're having a good
fun.
time.
And even what little profit we do make, we want to turn around and put it back.
Put
in
it
the
right
channel,
back in.
you know? So some of our goals moving forward: 1, the live streaming. I want to add live streaming
Yep.
to it. I finally, hopefully, have solid enough equipment. Had to buy a very high-end computer to be able to handle everything. But I have all the rest
Yeah.
of the stuff. So I'm going to do another test live stream as soon as I can, and then hopefully we can get that going.
Right.
We do plan on adding roulette. And we've talked
Yeah.
about how if we do it, we want to do it right. And a real
Right.
roulette table is about $2,000 or more.
That's just for the table.
And a real roulette wheel is about $2,000 or $3,000.
Yeah.
But I was doing some research into it, and we want to do it right, and we don't want to do it shoddy. But there are like fold-out leg
Right.
roulette tables, kind of like this. This is not a casino quality
No.
blackjack table.
No.
You eventually will do that.
Yeah, we'll get one of those.
And wooden casino-sized, almost casino quality wheels, roulette wheels, that both of them individually are about $400 or $500. So for less than $1,000, we will be able to do roulette. So
Right.
as soon as we're able to afford this equipment, we're gonna, because it's
Right.
not just roulette, by the way. It's not just the table and the wheel. We have to get speed checks because these regular checks just aren't going to work.
Right, we got to get real chips.
Plus to show and teach how to do, like, what's it called, checking up, or when you make the speed check worth $5.
Change? Check change?
No, because the speed checks are worth $1, but when you like mark it on the wheel, so it shows that color is worth $5.
Well, actually,
That's called.
chips. The chips have no monetary value, right? So until you put the little the chip in the I forget what it's called. It's like a little rack, and then right above it, you put the denomination to signify what it is. I forget what it's called too.
I can't remember what it is, but I don't do. He deals with that. I don't deal with that. But I know all the payouts, but you don't want to see me spin the damn ball. But yeah, we're gonna add roulette, but again, it's not just the wheel and the table. So that 1,000, but
The balls
speed
too?
checks, the ball,
The marker.
the marker. So we got to get a few things there. We also want to add. We're gonna add slots. We're gonna add Keno, video poker, some slots. That's also gonna be about $50 or so because we're gonna actually buy a machine. We're gonna start with just one, but we're actually
Right.
gonna buy a real machine, just to use one, but former casino
Right.
machine. So we definitely have big plans. We're going to continue to expand out the channel as much as we can. Keep having fun with it. I think
Excuse me.
roulette will be about the most we'll be able to add without shifting locations from my garage.
Well,
Because I don't think we could fit anything. Roulette alone is going to be,
another table. Yeah.
yeah, that's going to be, I'm just looking around going, I don't know where.
Yeah, we'd have to like set something aside.
Yeah, but I'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. We'll definitely get that added in, and eventually, we'll get a full-size, full-blown craps table, a real full-size roulette table, all that. But those are probably years down the road.
Yeah.
It's again, it's a big money sink there. So yeah, and hopefully over time we can start doing things like maybe we attend some of the conventions or
Right.
concerts, and and get some videos going from those.
Right.
Restaurants. I've actually reached out to some of the casinos asking if I could just do interviews with like casino managers and stuff like that. We're not quite big enough yet to really get their interest, but hopefully eventually we're able to do that as well.
We're still relatively new.
Yeah,
we've only been on the YouTube for what, maybe a year?
Not even a year.
Not even a year, yeah.
We will hit the year mark in February.
Gee, there you go.
Our first video posted in February of 2021. So we still got a ways to go on that. But
Oh yeah.
we want to add more than just gambling. Now, of course, we're gambling focused, but this is Las Vegas. It's gambling focused for the most part. But we want to add so many other things, restaurants and concerts and entertainment. And
maybe a vlog one day.
To do maybe a podcast.
Yeah.
I mean, this channel is going to be around until I keel over of old age, which
it's coming up soon. He's kind of old.
But kind of. But this young whippersnapper might take it over.
You never know.
But yeah, I mean, it's been fun. We're going to try and get some. We're going to try and get like T-shirts and hats and stuff like that. And we already have the lights. And,
Right.
And we just want to keep adding to it. We just want to keep making it better and better and better for you guys. And maybe I'll be able to get some time to get better at video editing and audio, especially editing. I watched the tutorials for the program I used, but my brain threw up, and that was it.
Ooh,
So,
maybe one day we'll actually get guests. We've been talking about like for a long time. We haven't had any guests, but
that is true. That is true.
maybe one day we'll get guests.
We definitely have a lot of people that we could feature. This is great stories.
Oh, great stories.
Ooh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
So that's Sin City Living in a nutshell, guys.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on the channel?
It's fun. It's fun to do. It wouldn't be possible without you guys. Like, I mean, granted, even if we only had maybe a couple hundred subscribers this time around, I'm sure we'd still be just cranking out videos, having a great time. We do it for the fun of it. We like what we do. We love what we do. He spends so much time, filming videos, editing, responding to you guys. So.
Yeah, I get off work at 3 or 4 in the morning, and I'm usually then in my garage till about 7 in the morning, and then on the computer editing till 8 or 9.
Yeah.
And then it's take the kid to school, finish the editing, take a nap,
Yeah.
go to work.
See, me, not so much. I live across town, and I don't have a steady schedule anymore. It's tough.
Yeah, but we'll get there, guys. We'll get there. This will continue growing.
Wouldn't be possible without you guys either, though.
Ton of fun. So we've already met a few of our fans. So we hope to continue that and maybe increase that as well. Although, as we've mentioned in the past, we do keep our work and the channel very, very separate. So that's why we've never answered that question of
Where do we work? Yeah.
And people that have come across, I don't know about you, that have come across me at work, of course I say hi, they're going to the channel and say, oh yeah, hey, thanks for watching,
Right.
and then I move on. I move on, I'm working anyway.
Right.
I get involved in the game, because they're
Separate.
I'm trying to keep them very, very separate.
Right.
And if you guys have any questions, we have fun shooting this kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
definitely let us know. And otherwise, I am Jason with Sin City Living.
I'm Louie
With Sin City Living as well.
with Sin City Living.
And we will catch you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye now.
So, as I promised, I wanted to go over very briefly our upcoming attempts at a third test live stream. So what's happened so far? The first test live stream just flat didn't work. The problem that I had was was an equipment problem. I had an equipment problem in that the equipment that I was using to translate the camera into streamable video to the computer required a better USB port than the computer I was using at the time. So that one just flat failed because it would not translate into the computer. The computer would not pick it up, would not read it, so I wasn't able to live stream it. So then, as I was looking through, because I'm a little bit of a tech head, as I was looking through all of my other stuff, because I do have 4 laptops here and 3 computers, I did find one that actually did have the newer style USB port. Unfortunately, it was actually my oldest laptop, but I figured, what the heck, let me give it a shot. What's the worst that can happen? And this time around, when I fired everything up, the video was actually translating onto the computer, so things were looking better.
But then when I attempted to live stream, the computer was not powerful enough to be able to translate it and then upload it sufficiently. So it basically just uploaded a blank screen for the live stream. So what I am going to have to do is, and I'm already looking into all of my options, I'm going to upgrade my computer so I can add, what, a 7th, 8th computer to my household. And I'm going to go much, much higher, and I'm going to get a computer that is far more than I need for this, far, far, far more powerful than I need for this. That way, any future upgrades that I may do, the computer will be able to handle it. So unfortunately, this computer is going to cost me about 25% more, about 25% of what I've already laid out in all the equipment for this channel. So it wasn't something I could just instantly buy. I'm probably looking at Black Friday or Cyber Monday. So hopefully I have it within the next couple of weeks, and then I'll do another test live stream and see if I can go from there. So I will definitely do at least one weekly live stream on our Patreon because they're the ones that are really helping us get this computer and the other equipment that I'm going to get, because I figure if I'm buying the computer, I might as well buy the most high-end capture cards and things along those lines, get everything as good as possible, and then hopefully eventually get a better microphone for you guys. So yeah, that's where we stand on the live stream. As soon as I have the computer and I do the test, which will be in a few weeks, like I said, I've got to order it in a week or two, then I have to wait for it to ship. Plus we have probably the biggest event of the year coming up, the NFR National Finals Rodeo. So I'm basically working 2 weeks straight, as is my wife. So not going to have a whole lot of time. But once we get all that under control, then we'll figure out. There's been some schedule changes to myself, some schedule changes to my wife, and some upcoming schedule changes to my wife as well. So hopefully we can get all the scheduling figured out so I know when I'll be able to live stream as well. My initial plan of Thursdays at 6 o'clock is already out the window. I'm at work at that point now. So we will get it all figured out, and we will let you guys know, I promise. And otherwise, I hope you guys have found this interesting, enlightening, illuminating, or at least just plain fun. And we will catch you guys next time. Bye now.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Sin City Living. My name is Jason. I'll be bringing you today's episode. As always, we want to thank all of our fans, our sponsors, our patrons. We appreciate all of your guys' support. Everyone that's bought us a cup of coffee, been greatly, greatly, greatly appreciated. We've had a rough couple of weeks here in the family, been out of work for a week and a half, coming up on 2 weeks, thanks to our old friend COVID running through us. I don't want to take up a whole lot of time with the usual spiel, so all of you guys that are interested in what's going on with Sin City Living and what we plan on doing in the future with our live streams and upcoming events, please stick around to the end of the video or skip to the end of the video and watch. I will put most of that stuff in the ending spiel, and I will try and update it every week or two with more news. Otherwise, that being said, we're just going to go ahead and jump straight into today's video. So for today's video, I want to answer an email from John. And John is sending an email asking questions about tipping and how to toke the dealers, or rather, what the dealers prefer. So let's take a look and see what he's saying. So he asked what is actually preferred. Is, option one, giving you $5, having you go ahead and drop it into your toke box right away, or betting, say, $4 or $6, betting some numbers for the dealers, maybe give them a 6, 8, 9 or something like that. Of course, player control, so we can press it up a little bit, which of course has the potential of nothing going into the box, or say two-way betting somewhere else, during the play, such as, say, two-way bets on hardways, dropping a toke after winning hands as a percentage of the winnings, or dropping a single larger toke as you leave for the session. It's complicated. It's complicated. Kind of like one of the other videos that we shot where we talked about how it seemed like everything was a yes or no. It's definitely, that's a complicated subject. It very much is. It can vary depending on the dealers. There's some things that I would say are commonalities that tend to be the majority of the dealers will look at things the same way. And that's how I'm going to present it today, as the things that I know that the majority of the dealers will look at. There will, of course, be the exceptions, of course. The first thing I will say is most dealers are by nature gamblers, either gamblers or former gamblers. And generally, they're going to prefer to be in on the action. Prefer to be in on the action because it gives us more stake in the game and it makes it more interesting to us. We're doing the same thing every single day, all day, for hours on end. And having a stake in the action makes us feel like we're part of the game and feels like we're playing as well. And especially on player control place bets, because oftentimes the players will turn the control over to us, which then gives us the ability to basically play the game. The other side of it too is, $1 and $2 bets, $1 or $2 tokes. You got to keep in mind when you throw the $1 and every dollar adds up. And I've always said that in any given casino, in every casino that I've been to, if every dealer stepped up their game just the tiniest bit in their customer service, that they would all make an extra $20, $30, $40, $50 a day easily. All based off these little $1 tokes that get thrown in. But in general, especially on the craps table where the tokes are extremely low, craps does not generate a lot of tokes. They tend to look at that dollar. If we drop that dollar into the toke box, we know that we just made approximately maybe a half a cent, a quarter of a cent, something along those lines. So, of course, we would rather have it. They'd rather have it bet, rather have it take the attempt to increase it. Plus, most dealers actually prefer to make money when the player makes money. Now, when you start getting into the green, and I've seen it, I've seen players, super generous players. I saw a guy one time that every single toke for the dealer was a green chip. Every single one of them. And very frequently, they always bet. He always bet them. And for 2 hours straight, we lost every single one of them. He would have toked us about $500. Actually, if we'd have won, we would have won well over $1,000. And we ended up dropping nothing into the toke box. Once we get into the greens, then the dealers are generally going to prefer that we were dropping these directly into the toke box, or at least a 50-50. A 50-50 on that one. Bet some of it, drop some of it. Two-way bets elsewhere, those are kind of a double-edged sword. They're fun to see, like a two-way 12 or two-way hardways, stuff like that. Hardways are fun if you make them parlays, but two-way bets in there, they have such a low percentage chance of hitting that the dealers, we appreciate it, and it's exciting when it hits, but when we have those bets, aside from the hardways, we're really not that invested in it because we know that the chances are it's not going to hit. There's such a low percentage chance of it hitting that we're really not thinking about it. People bet it, hey, thank you very much for the bet, sir, and we just move on because we know it's probably not going to hit. Dropping a toke after a winning hand, that yes and no. On this one, and this one I can't say what most dealers will do because this just doesn't come up that often for it to be something that the dealers really talk about, that I see a lot of the same, I guess, reflexive preference. But I've seen players that after they win one pass line bet with odds, after that they start putting the dealers on the pass line and then giving them some odds, and that's awesome. The dealers definitely appreciate that. We definitely love that. When you win your pass line bet and odds and to throw a couple bucks into the toke jar, it's appreciated. We would prefer it generally to be on the pass line. generally be right there. Because again, you're getting down, when you're talking about, just a few bucks, we'd rather just bet it. We'd rather bet it and see if we can increase it. Plus, again, gives us a little bit more buy-in into the game. And it also, generally, those kind of bets also help the dealers, I guess, connect with the players, talk with the players, and develop a rapport with the players. Now, when we're talking individual bets that hit big, for instance, somebody has a $100 hard 8 and it hits and they get paid their $900. That is one definitely where the dealers would certainly appreciate having a toke drop to them. Absolutely, 100%. When it comes to dropping a single larger toke as you leave for the session, that also really depends. Some people that have that plan in their head, they will end up losing all their money. So they will never toke. They'll be way ahead, so they're, oh yeah, I'll give you guys your tip at the end, and then they give all their money back, and they end up not toking the dealers at all. Generally, when I play, I actually have one spot on the rail that I keep aside, and that's where I'm putting dealer money, and I'll use it for bets on them and bets for them around the table. And if I'm just getting beat, then that's what I'll throw into them as I'm leaving. The downside to doing it that way is that the dealers could assume that you're not going to tip them, especially if you've been playing for a long period of time and you haven't done any tokes for them. And again, the dealers generally prefer to be in the game as we're going. So, that's those individual things. That's how I would tend to look at them. We do, of course, appreciate the fact that the players want the money to actually end up in the toke jar. That's very important for us as well. But again, craps just does not generally make much money. Every so often we have a player that will treat the dealers really, really well. But in general, craps that just doesn't make a lot of money. It just doesn't. It's the speed of the game and such, and how few hands you get per hour per minute in comparison to, say, blackjack or something like that affects it. So I hope this answers the question, John. Thank you very much for sending it to us. We appreciate you. We will catch you guys next time. Bye now. Okay, everybody, and as promised, all the usual blah blah that I try and do at the beginning of the video, we're going to go ahead and put near the end of the video. And here we go. So thank you, everybody, for your usual patronage. All of you that are patrons of ours, we very, very much appreciate it. Thank you, everybody who's been buying us a cup of coffee. Love to say that it's going to coffee right now, but this month with the entire family out for COVID, it's honestly going to Bill's and probably the kid's birthday in a week. But we definitely appreciate it. We're going to continue working on these live streams. I know you guys have seen some of them popping up. Just got to figure out the look of it, and some of the audio is still giving me issues. But hopefully we'll be getting those live streams and the craps tournaments going as soon as possible. Really just going to depend on scheduling. My schedule changed, Amy's schedule changed, kids' school schedule is fun. So once we figure out exactly how all those schedules are going to work, we'll let everybody know. And otherwise, please continue emailing us with anything you would like to see videoed. And again, thank you everybody for tuning in. We appreciate every single one of you guys. We'll catch you next time. Bye now. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Sin City Living. My name is Jason. I'll be bringing you today's episode. As always, we want to thank all of our fans, our sponsors, our patrons. We appreciate all of your guys' support. Everyone that's bought us a cup of coffee, been greatly, greatly, greatly appreciated. We've had a rough couple of weeks here in the family, been out of work for a week and a half, coming up on 2 weeks, thanks to our old friend COVID running through us. I don't want to take up a whole lot of time with the usual spiel, so all of you guys that are interested in what's going on with Sin City Living and what we plan on doing in the future with our live streams and upcoming events, please stick around to the end of the video or skip to the end of the video and watch. I will put most of that stuff in the ending spiel, and I will try and update it every week or two with more news. Otherwise, that being said, we're just going to go ahead and jump straight into today's video. So for today's video, and this one might be a little bit shorter, it's a quick subject, I want to go back into something that we have talked about in the past, and this will be useful for people that are dealers out there or people with home games, although the home games don't really matter because a lot of this comes into play in just doing things the correct way or the most proper way. And if you're dealing in a home game, you really don't need to worry about being, the most proper. You're not worried about whether or not the boxman thinks you're a good dealer or whether or not you're, have a chance to move up because you follow procedure. But at this time, we're going to deal with totaling, okay? So totaling is where you take a bet. Let's do this one. Where you take a bet and the odds, and you combine them both into one payout. We always pay odds first. So this $35 in odds would pay $42. And then, of course, you've got your $10 flat bet. So you could, of course, just grab that wrong. Grab that wrong too. So we could, of course, just do that, right? Now, what I want you guys to see is this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 checks. Okay, 8 checks used to pay that bet. Or we could look at it and go, well, odds pay 42 plus 10. The entire bet gets paid $52. When you total, you always, just like you always heel off a payout, we heel it off, but directly on the line in between the two bets. Now, a good dealer is going to tell the player, hey, this pays 42 plus 10 is 52. There you go. Let the player know so they're not confused. Especially newer players. Newer players get very, very confused. We put it directly on the line. Now, I want you guys to look. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 checks. 4 checks versus 8 checks. And that is when you total. That is proper totaling. Thank you, everybody, by the way, for the coffees. Very, very, very helpful in January. Helped us pay those bills while we were out ill, and helped me get a really cool Baby Yoda birthday cake for my son. So thank you guys. We'll go back into the coffees again this month. Please, everybody, send us some emails. Send us some emails with some strategies, some questions, something you'd like to see us shoot a video on. We really, really, really appreciate it. Okay, so let me show you when totaling is bad. So in this case, if we get a winner, we've got 30 in odds back there. 30 pays 36. We've got 10 up front, so the entire bet pays 46. Right? I will see occasionally dealers do this. They pay 46. Well, if they paid it properly in the back and then in the front, you would have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 checks. By totaling, they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 checks. So they saved nothing. They did not save themselves any checks. It makes no sense to total, and it's considered extraordinarily lazy. If you're not saving checks, you always pay it properly. When you total, it actually forces the box to have to look closer and not look at the entire table, but look directly at your payout and figure out exactly, make sure you're doing it correctly. Versus when you pay properly, you pay the odds, then you pay the flat bet. A quick glance, and we've got it. So if you're not saving checks, but you total, it's considered extremely lazy. The boxes, even though they're not likely to say anything, the boxes look at that as, well, this is a lazy dealer. And it's something that they talk about off to the side. Now, are there times where you can total even if the even if the bet doesn't quite reach that point. For instance, a bet like this, where you would total it to $46. There is a time that you can total this, and it's when you need to start getting some checks back. Maybe you're in the middle of a monster roll, and this player does nothing but small, tiny, itsy bitsy little bets, so you're not really ever able to just total and just give him green. But he's got now like $200 or $300 in red chips, and you really need to start getting some of this back. So what can you do? Well, 30 pays 36 plus the 10 flat bet is $46. Well, you can pay $51 for 5. You have totaled, you've given them green, and you've actually taken some red back. Now again, you should talk this through with the player. You can do it at kind of light speed or auctioneer speed as you're talking, that's fine, but you want to walk the player through that. Okay? That is a time when it becomes useful, when you can total. There's other times, even with lesser bets, you can do it. Let's say we've got this, right? 10 pays 12 on the back plus 10, so it pays $22. But this player's got a ton of red chips. So we could pay 27 for 5. Now, by pure proper procedure, you're only supposed to manipulate the odds when it comes to, overpaying and taking some back. You're not supposed to use the pass line. Now, once you've been dealing for a while and you're at a tier 3, tier 4 casino, you're going to be more likely to be allowed to start manipulating the pass line, but it's dangerous. It really is, because that's where you can end up having shots and jackpots on you. So it's not a good idea to manipulate it, but you can. You definitely can manipulate it. And here's an example of that. Now we get a winner. Well, that 15 in the back pays 18. That 10 pays 10. So the whole thing pays 28. So you're like, sweet, I can use a green. I can pay him in green. But again, what if they have $300-400 in red in front of them? Well, it pays 28. Now this is something that is not super common, and it should not be super common. It can be done, but you need to be a super strong dealer for them to they have to trust you. They have to trust you a lot in order to let you start doing stuff like this. But you could pay 53 for the whole bet. The 28 payout plus the 25 they started with. Now they've got green, and you got some red back. You've retrieved some red. So those are times when it's acceptable to total, when you're saving checks and when you're getting some checks back. So I hope you guys find this interesting, illuminating, enlightening, or at least just plain fun. Thank you everybody for watching. We'll catch you next time. Bye now. Okay everybody, and as promised, all the usual blah blah that I try and do at the beginning of the video, we're going to go ahead and put near the end of the video. And here we go. So thank you everybody for your usual patronage. All of you that are patrons of ours, we very, very much appreciate it. Thank you everybody who's been buying us a cup of coffee. Love to say that it's going to coffee right now, but this month with the entire family out for COVID, it's honestly going to Bill's and probably the kid's birthday in a week. But we definitely appreciate it. We're going to continue working on these live streams. I know you guys have seen some of them popping up. Just got to figure out the look of it, and some of the audio is still giving me issues, but hopefully we'll be getting those live streams and the craps tournaments going as soon as possible. Really just going to depend on scheduling. My schedule changed, Amy's schedule changed, kids' school schedule is fun. So once we figure out exactly how all those schedules are going to work, we'll let everybody know. And otherwise, please continue emailing us with anything you would like to see videoed. And again, thank you everybody for tuning in. We appreciate every single one of you guys. We'll catch you next time. Bye now. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Sin City Living. My name is Jason. I'll be bringing you today's episode. As always, we want to thank all of our fans, our sponsors, our patrons. We appreciate all of your guys' support. Everyone that's bought us a cup of coffee, been greatly appreciated. We've had a rough couple of weeks here in the family, been out of work for a week and a half, coming up on 2 weeks, thanks to our old friend COVID running through us. I don't want to take up a whole lot of time with the usual spiel, so all of you guys that are interested in what's going on with Sin City Living and what we plan on doing in the future with our live streams and upcoming events, please stick around to the end of the video or skip to the end of the video and watch. I will put most of that stuff in the ending spiel, and I will try and update it every week or two with more news. Otherwise, that being said, we're just going to go ahead and jump straight into today's video. So for today's video, I want to go over another one of the real strategies that I've seen on the table. I just saw this last night, in fact, and it was kind of oddball. It was so strange and so hard to quantify that it kind of stuck out in my head, and I wanted to show it to you guys as best I can, because again, this is pretty hard to quantify. And of course, thank everybody very much for the coffees you guys bought us last month during our various sicknesses. 2 for me, hospital twice. That was lots of fun. We took some pretty big hits in our income. So while we didn't use it for coffee, it did go towards our bills and my son's birthday. So we appreciate it very, very much. Thank you, everybody, for that help. And moving forward, we will start buying coffees again and showing you guys what we are buying. All right, so this strategy. Now, initially when I saw this person playing, well, maybe not initially, but after 3 or 4 rolls, they kind of switched strategies, and I thought they were just going into a standard regression strategy. So initially, what this player did was a do-we-don't strategy. That was pretty funny, and he went through for a few rolls, and then he switched it up, and he switched to the pass line, and that's where things got confusing for me, I guess would be a great way to put it, because he was kind of all over the map. So the first thing that we noticed that was pretty funny was he tended to string bet. He would throw in, let me get the 4, 5, and 10. Okay, you want the outside. You got it. You've got the outside. And then right after that, and let me get the 6 and 8. Okay. So you now have 135 across. And after 3 or 4 of these, we realized that he just doesn't really understand the outside, the inside, the across. We were trying to encourage him to speed up his bets a little bit, make it easier for him, but he just wasn't getting it. So we just ended up giving up on that aspect. But then he went to, I don't know, just some interesting things. Now, the first part that he did, I actually kind of like. As far as regression strategies, you guys know I'm not a huge fan of regression strategies. I don't like putting yourself behind the 8 ball, but there are some viable times where the regression strategy is good and is certainly playable, depending on what your goals are. And that's the thing. I don't like regression strategies mostly because my personal goals for the table are different. But you have multiple ways you could play. Are you playing just to kill some time, just to grind out for 4 or 5 hours and just to have some fun? Then possibly regression strategies or some of the other strategies work out really well, or some same bet stuff. Is your goal to double your buy-in, and are you looking for those 8 to 10 minute rolls? Is that what you're shooting for? Is that what your strategy is built around? And then, is your strategy built around the 20, 30, 40 minute rolls that come once a night? So he was regressing, and he was doing it in kind of an interesting fashion, because again, he was kind of all over the place. Now, he was at a $10 minimum bet table, but he didn't play $10 minimum bet. He played $15 minimum bet. So what he would do is, let's look at the 6 and 8. So if either one of these were to hit, he would throw a buck in and say, take me down to 18 each. So he would go ahead and take the $70. Now, he started out with $60. So, or he would take the $60 back that he started with, and now theoretically he's only invested $1 into these 2 numbers.
Okay, I get it. I can see it. He would do similar things with the 5 and 9. If the 5 or 9 were to hit, he would say, you know what? Here is $30. Take my bets down and just give me 15 each. Now, he was originally invested $50 into the roll, 25 each. Take out the 30 that he just used, and he has made a $5 profit on these two numbers, and now it's kind of, quote unquote, a free bet. Right? So there's definitely some viable things here. The thing that was weird with him was that he was, again, all over the map. He would do exactly what I just showed you a couple of times, maybe one or two shooters, and then the next shooter, let's say a 5 hits. So the 5 would roll, and he'd say, take my 5 down to 15. Okay, so he was $25 invested. He threw in an extra 5, so he's $30 invested. So he has made a $20 profit on this number, and he's down to a $15 bet. So again, the quote-unquote free bet. Now, of course, it's not actually a free bet. It's your money. It's not the casino's money. Once you have won it, if it is chips that you could walk away from the table with, go to the cashier's cage, cash them out for money, go home, spend your money on your wife or husband because you always want to spend your money on your husband, then it's not the casino's money. It's your money. And please get that out of your head that it's the casino's money. It's not. Once you have won it, it is your money. But that's what he's looking at. He has banked a $20 profit back into his rack, and he is now, as far as the impact on his initial bankroll, he no longer has any impact, and he is still into the 5. And yet, the very next shooter, he might go to the same thing, and this time when the 5 hits, he might say, press it, and take $10. Okay, cool. Or, and what I really noticed he would do this on a lot, was oftentimes he would do these and say the 6 hit. So he threw in that $1, collected up the rest, went to his 18 each, 6 and 8. But then he would throw in $50 back and say, press the 4 and 10. For some reason, he liked to go to the 4 and 10 at $50 each, whereas everything else he kept at 25 or 35 and then regressed them down. It was pretty baffling to us, especially because if they were to hit, as soon as they hit, the dealer would always pause. They would break out the money and they would pause. They're waiting for him to say, take me down to $15, take me down to 15 each on the 4 and 10, and yet he would same bet it. He would same bet it. But if he only had a quarter on it, then he might come down to $15. It was just, like I said, it was just baffling. It just didn't make a whole lot of sense. It was all over the map. He wasn't very consistent with what he was doing, and it made it difficult. If you're consistent, if you're inconsistent, it makes it tough because we always joke around that it's hard to hit a moving target. Now, of course, random is random. So you might be jumping around inconsistently and managing to jump directly into how the dice are going to roll for that particular round or that particular hand. It certainly can happen. I have seen it happen. Although typically people that are that random and all over the place, they tend to give it all back when they do win. But a lot of times you jump around and there happens to be a point where one of your strategies, your initial strategy, actually would have made you money, but you've jumped around so many different strategies that you never actually fell into any one pigeonhole, and you were just hoping for the extraordinarily random hit on it. So we see all kinds of weird stuff, but this one was just, again, so random, all over the place that I wanted to show it to you guys. So I hope you guys find this interesting, illuminating, enlightening, or at least just plain fun. Thank you, everybody, for watching. We will catch you next time. Bye now.
Okay, everybody, and as promised, all the usual blah blah that I try and do at the beginning of the video, we're going to go ahead and put near the end of the video. And here we go. So thank you, everybody, for your usual patronage. All of you that are patrons of ours, we very, very much appreciate it. Thank you, everybody who's been buying us a cup of coffee. Love to say it's going to coffee right now, but this month with the entire family out for COVID, it's honestly going to Bill's and probably the kid's birthday in a week. But we
Definitely appreciate it.
We're going to continue working on these live streams. I know you guys have seen some of them popping up. Just got to figure out the look of it, and some of the audio is still giving me issues. But hopefully we'll be getting those live streams and the craps tournaments going as soon as possible. Really just going to depend on scheduling. My schedule changed, Amy's schedule changed, kids' school schedule is fun. So once we figure out exactly how all those schedules are going to work, we'll let everybody know. And otherwise, please continue emailing us with anything you would like to see videoed. And again, thank you everybody for tuning in. We appreciate every single one of you guys. We'll catch you next time. Bye now. Hello everybody and welcome to Sin City Living. My name is Jason. I'll be bringing you today's episode. As always, we want to thank all of our fans, our sponsors, our patrons. We appreciate all of your guys' support. Everyone that's bought us a cup of coffee, been greatly appreciated. We've had a rough couple of weeks here in the family, been out of work for a week and a half, coming up on 2 weeks, thanks to our old friend COVID running through us. I don't want to take up a whole lot of time with the usual spiel, so all of you guys that are interested in what's going on with Sin City Living and what we plan on doing in the future with our live streams and upcoming events, please stick around to the end of the video or skip to the end of the video and watch. I will put most of that stuff in the ending spiel, and I will try and update it every week or two with more news. Otherwise, that being said, we're just going to go ahead and jump straight into today's video. So for today's video, we want to talk about the Iron Cross. Iron Cross is one of the most popular strategies in craps. Why? 2 reasons. One, YouTube, which I think is kind of funny since, I'm right here on YouTube, but the prevalence of YouTube videos and quote-unquote experts that talk about the brilliance of the Iron Cross method and its rise in popularity just kind of snowballed, and the more popular it got, the more people looked at it, the more popular it got, the more people looked at it, so on and so forth. It just kept on going. And another aspect of why it's so popular is some of the false assumptions behind it. So let's take a look. What is the Iron Cross, first off? Well, the Iron Cross is based off of placing the 5, the 6, the 8, and then betting the field. The theoretical idea behind this is that you are getting paid on every single number that is not a 7. There's 30 combinations of the dice that are not 7s, 36 combinations total, and this way, theoretically, you get paid every single time. But let's look at it. So to do it properly, a proper Iron Cross has more units up here than in the field, which means that if we're on a $10 minimum bet table, then a $10 field bet means we need at least 51 action over here so that we have higher units. Thank you everybody for the coffees, by the way. I didn't want to forget that. This month with the whole family out on COVID, our income took such a big hit that unfortunately we didn't buy a whole lot of coffees. It's mostly just gone towards bills and our son's birthday next week, but we all appreciate the support very, very much, especially our son. And thank you. So, now, as anything hits, the player gets paid. And this is what fools players, and I see this all the time. I see players that play the Iron Cross, they have they get paid a few times, and after an hour, they look down at their bankroll, or less than an hour, oftentimes it's 20, 30 minutes, and they're buying back in. And you see, especially on newer players, when I see players play the Iron Cross, a lot of times it's players that, as I look at them, as I talk to them, they haven't been playing craps very long. They don't understand the game. They don't really know the game at all. So they heard this, you're getting paid on every number, and they went, oh, that sounds wonderful, I can't lose. And what I see looks of confusion. That's probably the best way I could put it. I see looks of confusion on a lot of Iron Cross players as they look at the bankroll because they just don't understand it. Like, I've been collecting money. How am I losing? I've collected so many times. Why is it that I've had to buy back in? Well, let's take a look at it. So you have to keep in mind that on average, the average craps roll is only going to be a few rolls. You have a 1 in 6 chance of a 7 rolling. That means you have a 1 in 6 chance of a 0.7 out and never get paid. 1 in 6 chance of a 7 coming on the second roll, so you got paid once. 1 in 6 chance of getting paid twice. 1 in 6 chance of getting paid 3 times. So you got to figure, on average, you're only going to get paid 3 times. On average. Cold table, a lot less. Hot table, maybe you get paid a few more. So let's look at the classic iron cross as a new player that doesn't actually understand the game, so it doesn't modify the iron cross any. We're going to talk about that. Why is it that they are losing money? Well, if any of these numbers roll, they get paid $21, okay? But this field lost, okay? Which means that when they place that field back, they made a whopping $11, right? Now, if the field were to roll, they're going to get paid $10. Now, for 2 rolls, they'll get paid 20, but you have a 1 in 36 chance of that. So you've got about a 2% chance, a little over 2% chance. Same thing with the 12. Some places it'll pay double, some places it'll pay triple, but again, your odds are very, very, very low on that. So generally, your highest payout's going to be if one of these hit, and you make $11. $11, okay? So let's assume, let's say that not assume, but let's say, a 0.7 out occurred. Well, if a 0.7 out occurred, then you lost $61. You never once got paid. If a point, and then say a 6 rolls, and then a 7 out, right? You've got your $61 that you lost, you made $11 back. So you lost $50. If you get 2 hits before the 7 out, you've lost $39. If you get 3 hits before the 7 out, you've lost $28. And on average, you're probably going to get 3 hits before the 7 out. On average, there's going to, of course, exceptions to that. So on average, 4 shooters will cost you $100. If you buy in for $100 and you play this, 4 shooters are going to cost you $100. So this is why these players get so confused when they look at it like, well, how am I losing money? Or they'll catch, a nice little 5 to 10 minute roll, and everyone else is making all this money, and these players have just barely broken even. They don't realize that as they're collecting $11 at a time, that means they need to hit 6 times to break even, not to make a profit. 6 hits just to break even, which means they need an exceptional roll every single time just to make $10, because they need 7 hits just to make $10, $11. That's an exceptional roll. That's well above the average roll. A seven roll without a 7 is probably a 5 to 7 minute hand, right? That's 4 shooters per stick rotation. That's actually not a lot. I've had my 20 minutes on stick go through 11, 12 shooters. On average, I'd say I probably go through 6 or 7 shooters. And 4 shooters while I'm on stick is pretty, it's pretty uncommon. It happens. It pretty much happens every day at least once, but it's uncommon. Right? And should that occur, this player only made like $10. And if they catch a 15-minute roll, they may have doubled up. They may have made $60 profit on their $61 buy-in. And that's what confuses people so much with the Iron Cross. Now, some of the benefits to the Iron Cross is, again, you are able to play every single number. And if you look at the Iron Cross not as a strategy for the middling rolls, because it's actually a really crappy strategy for the 3 to 6 minute rolls. It's a terrible strategy for the 3 to 6 minute rolls. If you look at it as a strategy based on the 8 to 10 minute rolls or higher, it can start to show a little bit of strength if you modify it. Instead of just sticking with your same bet, use the Iron Cross to press your numbers. If you get paid $21 here, if you press this 1 unit, right, just 1 unit, get your field back, you still bank $5. It's not a lot. But now the next time this hits, you get paid $28. Right? Press it 1 unit again,
get your field back, you made a $12 profit. So just after 2 hits, on the second hit, you're already making more than you would if you just left your bet alone. And the third hit, you get paid even better. You get paid $35, 25 after the field. So you'd actually be collecting a green. Now at that point, then you can either use it to place other numbers or mid-press your 5, 6, 8. I have seen players that play the eye across, and they do very, very successful with it when they catch the 15 to 20 to 30-minute roll because they did not remain static. They use their field bet to place other numbers. They use their place bet hits to slowly press these. And a lot of times, once they have all the numbers, they stop at the field. Maybe they'll do a horn bet, maybe. But they generally stop at the field because the 2, the 3, the 11, and the 12 hit so rarely that you actually lose money trying to hit it every single time, because in order to bet those numbers, the 2, the 3, the 11, and the 12, you have to bet single roll bets. They win or lose every single roll of the dice. With the place bets, they don't lose if the number doesn't roll. They just stay there. So oftentimes players, once they have all the numbers, they stop doing the field bet, and they may or may not do a horn bet or something along those lines. Other players will get all the numbers, but they'll continue doing a field bet, only they'll keep using their field bet to further press these numbers. And if they can get these numbers up into the greens, if they're on, say, a 15-minute roll, they probably have all the numbers in the greens. Maybe they press up their field bet to a $15 field bet. If they catch, say, a 30-minute roll, they're probably up to $50, $60, $70 on every single number. They might have their field bet at a quarter, at a green. So, there are advantages to the iron cross if you're pressing it, if you're using it to get more numbers and increase your bets, press your bets. Just like any other strategy, you want to press your bets. But the thing with the iron cross is that it's so incredibly weak on the shorter term rolls. It has no advantage on rolls that are 5 minutes or less. That since you're already targeting the rolls of 7 to 10 minutes, that's what a press 1 unit or a mid press, something like that, is targeting also. So you might as well target it. If that's what you're targeting just as your break-even point, you might as well target it as your profitability point. I mean, it makes no sense to target the mid-range for a profitability point, the exceptional range for, the fantastic range for a profitable point. Why break even on one, profit on the other, when you could profit on one and extra profit on the other? So I hope you guys find this interesting, enlightening, illuminating, or at least just plain fun. We thank everybody for tuning in. We will catch you guys next time. Bye now. Okay, everybody, and as promised, all the usual blah blah that I try and do at the beginning of the video, we're going to go ahead and put near the end of the video. And here we go. So thank you, everybody, for your usual patronage. All of you that are patrons of ours, we very, very much appreciate it. Thank you, everybody who's been buying us a cup of coffee. Love to say that it's going to coffee right now, but this month with the entire family out for COVID, it's honestly going to Bill's and probably the kid's birthday in a week. But we definitely appreciate it. We're going to continue working on these live streams. I know you guys have seen some of them popping up. Just got to figure out the look of it, and some of the audio is still giving me issues. But hopefully we'll be getting those live streams and the craps tournaments going as soon as possible. Really just going to depend on scheduling. My schedule changed, Amy's schedule changed, kids' school schedule is fun. So once we figure out exactly how all those schedules are going to work, we'll let everybody know. And otherwise, please continue emailing us with anything you would like to see videoed. And again, thank you everybody for tuning in. We appreciate every single one of you guys. We'll catch you next time. Bye now. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Sin City Living. My name is Jason. I'll be bringing you today's episode. As always, we want to thank all of our fans, our sponsors, our patrons. We appreciate
all of your guys' support. Everyone that's bought us a cup of coffee, been greatly, greatly, greatly appreciated. We've had a rough couple of weeks here in the family, been out of work for a week and a half, coming up on 2 weeks, thanks to our old friend COVID running through us. I don't want to take up a whole lot of time with the usual spiel, so all of you guys that are interested in what's going on with Sin City Living and what we plan on doing in the future with our live streams and upcoming events, please stick around to the end of the video or skip to the end of the video and watch. I will put most of that stuff in the ending spiel, and I will try and update it every week or two with more news. Otherwise, that being said, we're just going to go ahead and jump straight into today's video. So this video is kind of in response to a couple of comments and questions that I've received. This one might be a shorter video. We'll see how it goes because it's a pretty basic subject. And this is basically, it's answering the question of why is the Martingale strategy so disparaged? Because it seems like it should be, it seems like absolute brilliance. And I'll tell you this, there's a saying within casinos that the casino is not scared of any strategy. There is absolutely no strategy anywhere on any game that the casino is scared of. That doesn't involve cheating, I will say. So, you know, all the strategies, everything still favors the house. Everything still favors the house in the long run. But the Martingale is one of the ones that is most amusing. When we see a Martingale, the casino is not only not scared, but kind of chuckling in the back of their head. So I'm going to show you why. Let's say we're on a $25 minimum bet table, just to make this a little bit easier. And, I don't know, a $5,000 max bet. That's pretty high for a $25. Well, no, depends where you're at. Okay, so we'll say a $5,000 max bet. We're going to use the field as an example here of the Martingale, just because it's, again, going to make it easier, and it's kind of centrally located within the camera. Thank you, everybody, by the way, for the coffees. A huge help through January while we were down sick. Less coffee, more paid bills with it. And my son's birthday and his Baby Yoda birthday cake, but we appreciate it, guys. You helped us out so much. And please, everybody, send us some emails. Give me some emails, some strategies you'd like to see, or some questions you have. Any questions you might have, we'll shoot a video answering your questions. Pretty much anything you would like to see, shoot us an email. We love shooting those emails. So the Martingale, why is the Martingale so knocked when, you know, you win a little bit and total up to a decent little hit and take off? Well, sure, you know, if you buy it for 500 and you win 1,000 and you walk away, that's awesome. That's great. You walked away doubled or tripled up. That's fantastic. Not a whole lot of people do. Here is why, aside from the fact that the Martingale is just a poor strategy, here's why it is so disparaged. So you've got your $25 field bet. You lose it. So you make a $50 field bet. Now you're betting $50 so that you can win a net profit of $25 because you already lost this. You lose that. You bet 100. Lose it. 200. 400. 800. 1,600. 3,200. Now you cannot at this point go up to the next level on the Martingale, which would be $6,400. Right? You just can't do it. Flat can't do it. So the most you could do would be 4,000, in which case you are down a lot of money if it does, even if it did happen to hit. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All you need is 8 no field numbers in a row in order to have lost and be in an unrecoverable situation. Because you cannot double up your bet at this point, now you're screwed. Right? And yeah, you got some people that say, well, you know, just have a buddy make a bet for you, with you, so that you can get to that $6,400 total. Sure. Then now you've got that 9th hit, and when that one misses, now you need a second buddy because you're over table max for 2 people. And 9 misses is definitely possible. Here's the thing. 8 no field numbers in a row. How often do I see that? More times than I can count. Some nights I will see it at least every hour. In fact, I would say almost every single night I see it a minimum of once an hour. With the occasional times, maybe we're in a hot roll or real slow shooters where we have less rolls of the dice, or we might go an hour without seeing
8 or 9 no-field numbers in a row, but it's going to come again fairly soon. Okay, so 8 misses or 9 misses in a row. Now, remember, even if you hit this bet right here, your $3,200 field bet, because you're on that $5,000 max table, you could do it. It sounds like you win $3,200, but you've actually lost $3,175 in your previous bet. So you only actually made a quarter. Right? So you made $25. But when you have that 8th no field number in a row, you have now lost $6,375. $6,375. Now, how many times do you need to win $25 to break back even if you've had a worst case scenario pop up? Once that worst case scenario pops up, how many times do you need to win $25 in order to make this back up, just to break even, just to get back what you had lost? A long frickin' time, especially considering that 8 or 9 no field numbers in a row is going to happen again long before you manage to make back your $6,000. That is why the Martingale is so disparaged, because it wins such a tiny amount while losing a massive amount, and the odds are pretty strong on hitting that loss long before you hit the win to make up hit enough of a win to make up for this. I had a father-son pair that were Martingale players not too long ago, maybe a year ago, a year and a half ago, and they lost. They hit table max and lost a ton of money. Called it a night, and it took nine misses in a row for them to be out. They called it a night, came back the next day, tried it again, and it happened again. Because, again, when it comes to, say, the field, I see this every single hour. So unless you're going to come in and play for 15 minutes and leave, if you play for an hour to 2 hours, you're going to lose this. This is period. You're going to lose this. You're going to hit table max. You're going to lose it. So they came in the next day, tried the same thing, and again, lost it. I knew a 6 and 8 place bet Martingale player that hit table max and lost a huge bankroll. And the funny thing is, they were trying to teach their buddy. They were trying to convince their buddy to do the same thing, a place bet Martingale. Well, their buddy had a tiny bankroll and was like, "No, I'm good. I'm just gonna same bet." He just started with, I think, like an $18 6 and 8, 36 action. Then he would, same bet, and then maybe press up to 30, then same bet, and then then mid press. So this one guy loses a huge amount of money, and this other guy actually ended up winning about $250 because he lasted longer. The other guy was broke after he hit all the misses in a row to get him to table max and out, whereas his buddy still had enough of bankroll to keep playing, and like 3 or 4 shooters later, caught like 8 or 9 6 and 8s in a row, or not in a row, but 8 or 9 6 and 8s, and managed to make it back up. I've seen don't pass Martingale players, and a don't pass at first glance, at first blush, seems like it's probably the strongest of the Martingale attempts. However, even that one, just losing enough to hit table max, enough in a row to hit table max without hitting a win, I will see a couple times a night, 2 or 3 times a night. So I'd say instead of now once an hour or once every 40 minutes, now I'm looking at once every 2 to 3, at most 4 hours, where I see that many hits. So of all the Martingales, the don't pass might be the strongest. But again, you run into that when you hit that worst case scenario, you're in an unrecoverable situation. You'd have to play for 4 hours a day for 6 months to make at $10 a hit or $25 a hit in order to make back your money, just to break even again. And that's assuming you don't hit another worst case scenario that happened fairly often. So I hope you guys find this interesting, illuminating, enlightening, or at least just plain fun. Thank you everybody for watching. We'll catch you next time. Bye now. Okay everybody, and as promised, all the usual blah blah that I try and do at the beginning of the video, we're going to go ahead and put near the end of the video. And here we go. So thank you, everybody, for your usual patronage. All of you that are patrons of ours, we very, very much appreciate it. Thank you, everybody who's been buying us a cup of coffee. Love to say that it's going to coffee right now, but this month with the entire family out for COVID, it's honestly going to Bill's and probably the kid's birthday in a week. But we definitely appreciate it. We're going to continue working on these live streams. I know you guys have seen some of them popping up. Just got to figure out the look of it, and some of the audio is still giving me issues. But hopefully we'll be getting those live streams and the craps tournaments going as soon as possible. Really just going to depend on scheduling. My schedule changed, Amy's schedule changed, kids' school schedule is fun. So once we figure out exactly how all those schedules are going to work, we'll let everybody know. And otherwise, please continue emailing us with anything you would like to see videoed. And again, thank you everybody for tuning in. We appreciate every single one of you guys. We'll catch you next time. Bye now. Welcome everybody to Sin City Living. My name is Jason and I'll be bringing you today's episode. As always, please hit those like and subscribe buttons. We have a ton of content for you guys coming out every single week, every single day generally. Occasionally miss a day like I did during the rodeo that is still ongoing right now. And I hope all of our patrons out there are appreciating the patron-only exclusive videos we're putting out with the dice class, putting one out every couple of weeks. And if you're curious about that, go ahead and check the description down below. Once I get this whole live stream thing figured out, I'm probably going to do a live stream on the patron site as well. One on the regular site, one on the patron site. I do have the new computer for it. Theoretically, I have everything ready. I'm just so busy currently with this rodeo. And one of our fans asked a question a little while back about ways to tip us, to show appreciation to us without having to sign up as one of our patrons. And at the time we did not have any way of doing it, but I have managed now to get us signed up with a site called Buy Me a Coffee. As I'm sure some of you guys have noticed from some of our videos, Louie and I are both pretty heavy coffee drinkers. So if you're curious about that as well, go ahead and check down below in the description as well. We would definitely appreciate any cups of coffee you're willing to pick up for us. And don't forget to email us with any strategies, questions, suggestions, anything at all. We love shooting those videos for you guys. I actually haven't gotten a new email in about 2 weeks. And also, don't forget, anybody that may be interested in one of the small Sin City Living neons that we have, just email us that as well, sincityliving.lv@gmail.com. Otherwise, I'm going to go ahead and get into today's episode. So for this email, I'm going to answer another email that was sent to us. I'm getting a decent flow of emails right now, so I really appreciate that, guys. Keep them coming. Love shooting these for you guys. Thank you, everybody, by the way, that's picked us up a cup of coffee so far. We're definitely going to be mixing it up quite a bit. Today it was the Dunkin' Donuts breakfast. Oh, no, wait, that was this morning. I had the toasted white chocolate mocha from Starbucks earlier today. Almost forgot about that one. So unfortunately, I already finished it, so I can't show it to you guys, but it's really, really good. And so this email comes from Ted. This is going to be a fairly short video because it looks like his question is relatively quick and easy to answer. And he talks about how why some players skip the pass line and just play place bets. And he's asking, well, it seems like that you're missing out on one of the better bets. And he says they claim they can make more money. And he's wondering if that's true or not. He mentions he only presses the number that rolls. So the answer is kind of yes and no. The problem with the pass line bet is that you really don't have much ability to press. You can do put bets and stuff like that, but the problem with the pass line bet, a number of different things. One, it's locked in. It's a contract bet.
and you lose your ability to press it. It gets paid even money. The plus to the pass line bet is it's a small house edge. It's fantastic odds. Small house edge plus the odds in the back are true odds. There's no house edge whatsoever, so on and so forth. Now, feel free to watch the video that we filmed on the danger of buying too much. Why the house edge isn't the be all and end all. Kind of the illusion of the house edge. When you get right down to it, all house edge means you lose slower. That's all house edge means. House edge has nothing to do with how much you can win. It has entirely everything to do with how slowly you lose. That's it. It's only based around that. So if you were playing just to play for a long period of time, you don't care about trying to win oodles of money, you just want to play for a long period of time, maybe win a little bit, then absolutely stick with the bets that have the smallest house edge, because if you catch a decent little streak, you'll win a few times and make a little bit of money. But some people play craps with the intent to basically try and win all the chips on the table. And the easiest, most efficient, and quickest way to do that is place bets. Yes, they have a worse house edge than come bets, pass line bets, so on and so forth. But again, house edge only affects how slowly you lose, not how much you can win on the high end. House edge affects bad rolls, basically how slowly you're going to lose on colder tables or just on average. Other bets, when you're looking at how much you can win, now you're looking at those incredibly rare rolls. You're looking at the 20, 30, 40-minute rolls. Where are you going to win the most amount of money? People go with the place bets because of the control they have on them. You can take them up, put them down, turn them off, whatever you want. They are not locked in. They are not contracted bets. 2, they're super, super, super easy to press. Yes, again, you can do put bets and then add more money to your odds. The thing is, as we've shown in the past also, unless you get to 10 times odds or higher, for an equivalent dollar amount risked, when a number hits, a place bet will pay you better. Just the way it goes. Yes, the house edge is greater on that place bet. You're going to lose at a greater rate, theoretically, but your win is also going to be higher if it hits. And that's the thing. You're betting in the hopes that things hit, not betting in the hopes that you lose slower. So that's why a lot of people play the place bets. For instance, if you were on the 9, and the point is 9, and you have $10 pass line bet with $10 odds, right? That is going to win you $25. 10 pays 15 on the odds, and then 10 on the flat bet. It makes you $25. You have $20 in action to make $25. If you had a $20 place bet when the 9 rolled, you would make $28. You make more. You make more money. But the biggest reason that people play the place bets is, again, the control. The control, the pressing, and how standardized it is. Because place bets are the most popular bet for serious craps players, it's the one that the dealers are the most familiar with, and there are really no press moves and such for put bets. But for place bets, absolutely. People don't play come bets or pass line bets with the intent to try and get themselves up to table max. A lot of people play place bets with the intent to try and get themselves up to table max. So the dealers are very familiar with those kind of moves. They're used to it. They actually expect it. We expect that if people are playing place bets, they're trying to win a lot of money. So we expect that they're going to go for it and they're going to try and increase their bets. It's just normal. It's what we see every single day. And probably the biggest reason, in my mind, the biggest reason that people really enjoy place bets, they're more fun. Again, this is a game that's supposed to be entertainment. Sure, some people come into it and get all serious and all that, and honestly, the dealers and other players hate those players. It's the people that are playing this for fun. Sure, it's fun, more fun to win money, and you're trying to win money, but the people that play this for fun. Now, most dealers don't have these super complicated strategies because they know what works and what doesn't. They've seen it 10,000 times, 100,000 times. And most dealers also would not play at a very low max bet table and start out at table max, because we're playing it for fun. The dealers are playing it to have a good time, and it's more fun to press your numbers. It's more fun to start out with a $15 6, and all of a sudden you've got a $300 6. You built that up, and you're really rooting for that 6 to roll. You're cheering for it. You're hoping that 6 to roll. It's exciting. It's fun. It's interesting. place bets are some of the most exciting bets. Sure, inside there in the center action, you get some fun stuff when it hits, but the odds of those things hitting is so low that it's really tough for people to get super excited. Plus, those are single roll bets, they come down. Whereas the place bets, they stay up. So every roll you keep rooting for the same thing. Come on, hit. Instead the 5 hits. You're like, well, take that one up to 150. Come on, 6, let's go 6. And the 5 hit again. Heck, take me up to 250. Now all of a sudden you're rooting for the 5 and the 6. And it's just more fun. Place bets are a ton of fun to play. Thank you very much, Ted, for shooting us this email. I hope everyone finds this interesting, enlightening, illuminating, or at least just plain fun. Thank you very much for watching again. We'll catch you next time. Bye now. So, as I promised, I wanted to go over very briefly our upcoming attempts at a third test live stream. So what's happened so far? The first test live stream just flat didn't work. The problem that I had was was an equipment problem. I had an equipment problem in that the equipment that I was using to translate the camera into streamable video to the computer required a better USB port than the computer I was using at the time. So that one just flat failed because it would not translate into the computer. The computer would not pick it up, would not read it, so I wasn't able to live stream it. So then, as I was looking through, because I'm a little bit of a tech head, as I was looking through all of my other stuff, because I do have 4 laptops here and 3 computers, I did find one that actually did have the newer style USB port. Unfortunately, it was actually my oldest laptop, but I figured, what the heck, let me give it a shot. What's the worst that can happen? And this time around, when I fired everything up, the video was actually translating onto the computer, so things were looking better. But then when I attempted to live stream, the computer was not powerful enough to be able to translate it and then upload it sufficiently. So it basically just uploaded a blank screen for the live stream. So what I am going to have to do is, and I'm already looking into all of my options, I'm going to upgrade my computer so I can add, a 7th, 8th computer to my household. And I'm going to go much, much higher, and I'm going to get a computer that is far more than I need for this, far more powerful than I need for this. That way, any future upgrades that I may do, the computer will be able to handle it. So unfortunately, this computer is going to cost me about 25% more, about 25% of what I've already laid out in all the equipment for this channel. So it wasn't something I could just instantly buy. I'm probably looking at Black Friday or Cyber Monday. So hopefully I have it within the next couple of weeks, and then I'll do another test live stream and see if I can go from there. So I will definitely do at least one weekly live stream on our Patreon because they're the ones that are really helping us get this computer. And the other equipment that I'm going to get, because I figure if I'm buying the computer, I might as well buy the most high-end capture cards and things along those lines, get everything as good as possible, and then hopefully eventually get a better microphone for you guys. So yeah, that's where we stand on the live stream. As soon as I have the computer and I do the test, which will be in a few weeks, like I said, got to order it in a week or two, then I have to wait for it to ship. Plus, we have probably the biggest event of the year coming up, the NFR National Finals Rodeo. So I'm basically working 2 weeks straight, as is my wife. So not going to have a whole lot of time. But once we get all that under control, then we'll figure out. There's been some schedule changes to myself, some schedule changes to my wife, and some upcoming schedule changes to my wife as well. So hopefully we can get all the scheduling figured out so I know when I'll be able to live stream as well. My initial plan of Thursdays at 6 o'clock is already out the window. I'm at work at that point now. So we will get it all figured out, and we will let you guys know, I promise. And otherwise, I hope you guys have found this interesting, enlightening, illuminating, or at least just plain fun. And we will catch you guys next time. Bye now. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Sin City Living. My name is Jason. I'll be bringing you today's episode. As always, we want to thank all of our fans, our sponsors, our patrons. We appreciate all of your guys' support. Everyone that's bought us a cup of coffee, been greatly appreciated. We've had a rough couple of weeks here in the family, been out of work for a week and a half, coming up on 2 weeks, thanks to our old friend COVID running through us. I don't want to take up a whole lot of time with the usual spiel, so all of you guys that are interested in what's going on with Sin City Living and what we plan on doing in the future with our live streams and upcoming events, please stick around to the end of the video or skip to the end of the video and watch. I will put most of that stuff in the ending spiel, and I will try and update it every week or two with more news. Otherwise, that being said, we're just going to go ahead and jump straight into today's video. So for today's video, we want to look at the most underrated strategy. We've talked about this one before, pressing at 1 unit, and why some players may play this, what some of the advantages and disadvantages are, strengths and weaknesses, so on and so forth. So how does it work? Well, like a lot of our strategies, it starts out with going across. So we'll include the point. Some players will, some players won't. And we'll say it's a $10 table. So we're starting at 64 across, including. Thank you, everybody, for the coffees this month. It was very appreciated with the whole family out for COVID. We lost a lot of our income. So fortunately, we didn't buy a whole lot of coffee this time around, but your support and help actually went towards our bills and towards our son's 6th birthday coming up. So thank you, everybody. We appreciate it, and our son most definitely appreciates it. All right, so let's take a look. Once we go all the way across, now the press 1 unit, for the most part, I typically see this, because this is a highly underrated strategy, and it's one that I see often enough that it's obvious to us when it's being played, but not so often that it would be one of the top 5 strategies we see every single day. And typically when I see it, it's one of 2 types of players. It's players that are relatively new to the game, so they have just barely learned place bets and were just barely shown pressing. And typically when we teach someone about pressing, we'll show them by pressing at 1 unit at a time, because we want to encourage them to press, while at the same time we want them to see themselves collecting money. That helps them appreciate the bets because they're collecting money, and as the roll progresses, it helps them appreciate pressing it up because they're collecting more money. So it's kind of a win-win either way. So that's generally the first way people learn how to play. So when they're still relatively new, that tends to be how they continue playing, if they have a big enough bankroll. Some players don't like to go across. Other players are too scared to press at all. They just want to constantly collect. And then the second type of player that I see play this strategy are long-term players, players that have been playing for a long time. And most players that have been playing for a long time don't do this. They do a mid-press or a power press strategy. But I do know of a few players that do a pressing 1 unit type of strategy, and they've been playing for a long time. They actually have really big bankrolls. Typically when they play, they'll buy in with a bankroll big enough to see, say, 40.7 outs. And then they go with the press 1 unit and go from there. So why the press 1 unit? What are the advantages of the press 1 unit? Well, the primary advantage to the press 1 unit is the fact that you are collecting always, and you're collecting a decent little bit. I mean, in comparison, you've got a $12 bet here. You're going to collect $8. So you're collecting $4 shy of making your money back on the very first hit. The very first hit. Now the second hit on here, you're going to collect $15. So on this one number, you've already collected $23 on your $12 bet. What about the next hit? Well, the next hit, you collect $22. You're up to 30. So after 3 hits of this number, you have $45. 3 hits. Just 3 hits of the number, you've got $45. 3 hits on any one number, and you've got almost your entire cross back. Keep in mind that there's a good chance that a few other numbers have already hit as well. Basically, 4 or 5 rolls of the dice, you probably have your entire initial investment back. So the press 1 unit strategy has a couple of advantages. Advantage number 1 is that its break-even point is the maybe
3 to 4 minute rolls. So the very mid-level, kind of bottom end of the mid-level type of rolls is the break-even point. Advantage number 2 is even in the super short rolls, you're still collecting some of your money back, so very rarely are you actually in all 64 or 54 or 52, whatever you did. Very rarely are you losing all of that. Basically, it requires 0.7 outs for the most part, or point horn 7 out kind of thing. So most of the time, the player's collecting some of their money back. So they're not actually invested quite so much. Their average investment into each hand isn't as high as it looks. It's kind of like, I don't know if any of you guys have ever played, say, 100-hand video poker. I played a 100-hand video poker a while back where I want to say it was a quarter or a nickel machine. I think every spin was $25. And I put $100 in the machine, so you would look at it and go, well, you've only got 4 spins, really. Except that even on a bad hand, I usually made back anywhere between $18 to $23. So while it seemed like I had a $25 minimum bet, in reality, I was really only actually in every single spin, maybe $4 to $6 if I didn't hit anything decent. So that's kind of what the press one unit is. It looks like you have a big initial buy-in, but because you collect on almost every single roll, your functional buy-in, once the 7 out comes, tends to not be as high. So what are some of the disadvantages to pressing at 1 unit? Well, there's actually not too many. The biggest disadvantage to pressing at 1 unit is if you happen to catch that 45-minute roll, you're not going to be at table max on any numbers. You would have to catch it. By pressing at 1 unit at a time, you're pretty much never going to hit table max. Even if you caught a world record roll of, that beats the 168 rolls, I think it was, you're still not going to be at table max on any given number. You would need a number to hit 100 times, 200 times, 400 times in order to be at table max. So that's one of the disadvantages. The advantage, though, is this actually ramps up a lot faster than people think. People don't realize how quickly you can go from 12 to 30. Now, from there, some players still press at 1 unit, and the most I've ever seen someone take a $12 6 or 8, pressing at 1 unit at a time is $54. So that's actually not bad if you think about it. 12 to 18 to 24 to 30 to 36 to 42 to 48 to 54. 7 hits. 7 hits of their number. Now, a power presser would have been a table max at that point, and depending on the table max, would have either collected at $1,000 at the $1,200 mark, or would be at table max at the $2,400 mark. And I've obviously seen a lot more 6s or 8s roll than that. We just didn't have a press 1 unit player on the table at the time. So it ramps up pretty quick. But the thing about the pressing 1 unit also is just like any other strategy where you're across, you can also pick your point where you decide to switch things up, where you decide to change it a little bit. Once you hit, say, $30, maybe you switch to a mid press method. Let's take a look at this real fast. All right, so the player is $64 invested. Okay, so say the 8 hit once. So press a 1 unit. Next time it hits, press a 1 unit. Next time it hits, press a 1 unit. Now, that's 3 hits. 3 hits. And as we've already covered, you have $45 sitting in front of you. You probably at your break-even point, maybe even winning some, because other numbers probably would have rolled. That's only 3 hits. So maybe the next hit, you switch to a mid-press method. You go from 30 to 42. Why not? You're already up, and you're collecting decent bits. Even at that point where you're mid-pressing, you're still collecting more than you've collected at any other point on this press. You're collecting in the green every single time, so why not? So the next time, maybe you press it up to 60. Next time around, you got a couple different ways you can go. You can go to 72, and you can collect that 60. Or you can go to 90 and collect the 40. Either one. But now you're at your mid-press method, and now your bets are ramping up a lot faster while you're still collecting. So the press 1 unit, very, very strong, especially in the shorter rolls. The 3 to 5 minute rolls, the press 1 unit, that's where it really shines because it helps you break even, not be as invested in the roll. And yet, when you start hitting that 4 or 5 minute mark, you're noticing that you're actually up money. And if you've got 1 or 2 numbers that have broken the statistical likelihoods and rolled more often than you would think they should, you're going to be collecting a fairly decent bit because things have really improved. So that's why some players will play the press 1 unit. That's some of the advantages, some of the disadvantages. I hope you guys find this interesting, illuminating, enlightening, or at the very least, just plain fun. Thank you very much, everybody, for watching, and we will catch you next time. Bye now. Okay, everybody, and as promised, all the usual blah blah that I try and do at the beginning of the video, we're going to go ahead and put near the end of the video. And here we go. So thank you, everybody, for your usual patronage. All of you that are patrons of ours, we very, very much appreciate it. Thank you, everybody who's been buying us a cup of coffee. Love to say that it's going to coffee right now, but this month with the entire family out for COVID, it's honestly going to Bill's and probably the kid's birthday in a week. But we definitely appreciate it. We're going to continue working on these live streams. I know you guys have seen some of them popping up. Just got to figure out the look of it, and some of the audio is still giving me issues. But hopefully we'll be getting those live streams and the craps tournaments going as soon as possible. Really just going to depend on scheduling. My schedule changed, Amy's schedule changed, kids' school schedule is fun. So once we figure out exactly how all those schedules are going to work, we'll let everybody know. And otherwise, please continue emailing us with anything you would like to see videoed. And again, thank you everybody for tuning in. We appreciate every single one of you guys. We'll catch you next time. Bye now. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Sin City Living. My name is Jason. I'll be bringing you today's episode. As always, we want to thank all of our fans, our sponsors, our patrons. We appreciate all of your guys' support. Everyone that's bought us a cup of coffee, been greatly, greatly, greatly appreciated. We've had a rough couple of weeks here in the family, been out of work for a week and a half, coming up on 2 weeks, thanks to our old friend COVID running through us. I don't want to take up a whole lot of time with the usual spiel, so all of you guys that are interested in what's going on with Sin City Living and what we plan on doing in the future with our live streams and upcoming events, please stick around to the end of the video or skip to the end of the video and watch. I will put most of that stuff in the ending spiel, and I will try and update it every week or two with more news. Otherwise, that being said, we're just going to go ahead and jump straight into today's video. So for today's video, we want to talk about why the mid-press. Why is the mid-press such a popular way of playing amongst experienced craps players or frequent craps players? You know, there's a few very common strategies that we see amongst players that play a lot and have really studied the game. And the mid-press method is one of the most common that we see. So why is that? What are some of the advantages and disadvantages of the mid-press method? Well, the first thing that's a solid advantage is, of course, that it gets you almost all the numbers. You know, and you can, of course, place the point itself if you don't have a pass line bet. So one of the first advantages is it gives you almost all the numbers. One of the first disadvantages is that you're in for a decent amount of money. You know, if you're on a $10 minimum bet table, you're in for at least $60 or at least $50 if you're not including the point. So one disadvantage is the entry fee can get up there. One advantage is you're going to get paid on most of the numbers that roll. You know, I mean, let's take a look at this. You've got 6, you've got 14, you've got 24 of the 36 possible combinations of the dice. And if you take out the 6 that lose, the 6 ways that the 7 can roll, you've got 24 of 30. 24 of the 30 non-losing combinations of the dice will pay you. So that's one advantage. And another one of the advantages, and one of the reasons that the mid-press is so popular, is how quickly it can ramp up. It can ramp up very, very, very quickly. The thing is, as much as we talk about the statistical likelihoods of the numbers rolling, and I use the statistical likelihoods when I show 30 and 45 and 60 roll without a 7 type of rolls. In reality, most players that are playing craps, they're really just hoping for one number that beats those statistics. Instead of hoping that you catch a 40-minute roll so every number rolls 5, 6, 7 times, you're actually just hoping to catch a 15-minute roll that one number rolls 4 or 5 times. That happens. That happens with enough regularity that people can try and play for it. And should that happen, they want to win as much of their money as they can. So the mid-press method ramps up relatively quickly, not as fast as power press, but it does ramp up very, very quickly. Thank you, by the way, everybody, for the coffees. Very appreciated, especially this month with the whole family out with COVID and the kid's birthday coming up. Be honest, we didn't buy a lot of coffee. We've mostly been paying bills or buying birthday presents, and are hoping to buy a really cool space cake soon for our 6-year-old. But thank you, everybody. We really appreciate, really appreciate all that support from you guys. It can ramp up, and it can ramp up fairly quickly, and then you can almost kind of pick your exit point. Well, and let's look at say a 6. Let's say the 6 were to roll 4 times. Okay, so what's a mid-press player likely to do? Well, the first time they're likely just going to press it up 1 unit. Now, the next time around, a mid-press player is very likely to go that way. Now, the next time it hits, likely to go this way, and then that 4th time. Now, 4 hits. 4 hits on a 6. The 6 rolls 4 times. And they've got $71 sitting here. They made $71 in profit on the 6. Now, what happens if it rolls again? They make another $70, assuming they don't do any other kind of presses, and they probably would, but they're most likely going to make between $50 to $60, depending on how they do their next press. So if it hits a 5th time, they've already made over $100, well over $100 off that one number. Keeping in mind that other numbers have hit as well. So it ramps itself up very, very, very quickly. Now, one of the downsides is if every single number only hit once, you're gonna lose. You're gonna lose money. But you're gonna lose money no matter what if you have that kind of super short roll. These players are looking for those medium rolls, and that's the thing. The mid-press is looking for the medium rolls. You're not looking for the super long rolls. That's just one number. Let's say the 9 were to hit 4 times as well. Well, let's look at how this player would likely do it. So pay 15 for 1, probably press it up 1 unit. Next time around, they're probably going to go to a quarter. Next time around, take it to 36. And the next time around, take it to 50. I mean, you see how fast you get some greens while you're still getting your bets up there. And you're getting them up there very, very, very quickly. Very quickly. Not as fast as, say, a power press method, but definitely quick enough. And the thing about the mid-press method is at any given time, you can take a look at your bets and say, you know what? Or you can take a look at your bankroll. Maybe everything is hit 3 times. And so you've got $150, $200 sitting in front of you that when you started out with, say, 64 cross. So you're looking at it, you're like, well, I've already tripled up or more. So now I'm actually going to go for a power press. Next thing that hits, I'm going to full press it, and then I'll take a same bet after that. I mean, you can adjust your strategy at any given time. When you've got all the numbers, you can always adjust your strategy. It's mid-press methods that are also very, very common with some regression players. They'll mid-press up a certain, maybe they'll tell themselves 3 hits and they regress back down. And that's certainly possible. In fact, let's take a look at that. Let's see how that would work. Let's say a 3-hit and a 4-hit regress. Now, a lot of regression players don't like to go much beyond 3 or 4. 3 is a more likely stopping point. So let's say this player is a mid-press player. So the first time, boom, press it up 1 unit. The next time, boom, and then the next time, oops, boom, all right, Well, that hit 3 times. So now they said take me back down to $12. So the third time, after 3 times, they come down to 12. They come back down to $12, and they've got $70 sitting here. $70, and that's just off one number. Now, if it were to keep going, that would be, they'd be losing some money. But let's look at 4 times. They say, you know what, take me down to 12, okay? $119. $119 off that one number. So the mid-press method also gives you options as far as adjusting your strategy. You can put your exit point pretty much at any point. At any point you can decide on an exit strategy, regression, just stop pressing and same bet everything. I know some players that will mid-press themselves up to the green, up to say 135 or 160 across including, and then just same bet for a little while because they're collecting a green every single time, more than a green, and that's a happy stopping point for some players. I know other players that will that will continue to mid-press up until they're collecting 2 greens every single time, or until they're collecting a black every single time. Just press yourself up to 75 here, 90 here, you're collecting $105 every single time, and that's where they stop. They just stop and they just same bet, same bet, same bet. There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all. So I hope you guys find this interesting, enlightening, illuminating, or at least just plain fun. Thank you, everybody, for watching. We will catch you guys next time. Bye now. Okay, everybody, and as promised, all the usual blah blah that I try and do at the beginning of the video, we're going to go ahead and put near the end of the video. And here we go. So thank you, everybody, for your usual patronage. All of you that are patrons of ours, we very, very much appreciate it. Thank you, everybody who's been buying us a cup of coffee. Love to say it's going to coffee right now, but this month with the entire family out for COVID, it's honestly going to Bill's and probably the kid's birthday in a week. But we definitely appreciate it. We're going to continue working on these live streams. I know you guys have seen some of them popping up. Just got to figure out the look of it, and some of the audio is still giving me issues, but hopefully we'll be getting those live streams and the craps tournaments going as soon as possible. Really just going to depend on scheduling. My schedule changed, Amy's schedule changed, kids' school schedule is fun. So once we figure out exactly how all those schedules are going to work, we'll let everybody know. And otherwise, please continue emailing us with anything you would like to see videoed. And again, thank you everybody for tuning in. We appreciate every single one of you guys. We'll catch you next time. Bye now. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Sin City Living. My name is Jason. I'll be bringing you today's episode. As always, we want to thank all of our fans, our sponsors, our patrons. We appreciate all of your guys' support. Everyone that's bought us a cup of coffee, been greatly, greatly, greatly appreciated. We've had a rough couple of weeks here in the family, been out of work for a week and a half, coming up on 2 weeks, thanks to our old friend COVID running through us. I don't want to take up a whole lot of time with the usual spiel, so all of you guys that are interested in what's going on with Sin City Living and what we plan on doing in the future with our live streams and upcoming events, please stick around to the end of the video or skip to the end of the video and watch. I will put most of that stuff in the ending spiel, and I will try and update it every week or two with more news. Otherwise, that being said, we're just going to go ahead and jump straight into today's video. So for today's video, we want to talk about the power press. The power press, one of the more popular strategies, especially amongst very, very serious and very hardcore craps players. And we want to talk about why it's so popular and some of the pros and cons behind the power press and how it works and so on and so forth. Thank you, everybody, for the coffees. Very, very, very much appreciated, especially this month with the whole family going down with
with COVID, unfortunately, we haven't been able to buy too much coffee, but it has actually gone to our bills and our son's upcoming birthday. So, again, thank you everybody for that. We very much appreciate your support. Now, the power press. So what exactly is the power press? Well, the power press is, like many other strategies, going all the way across. Sometimes it includes the points, sometimes it does not. It really depends on the player, whether or not they have a pass line bet and so on. So we're going to look at it as if we were starting at a $10 table, and we will include the point. Right? So the power press will place all the numbers. And what is the goal of the power press? The goal of the power press is to get a number to table max as fast as possible. Doesn't always need to be table max, keep that in mind, but up to a certain point, as quickly as possible. People that play the power press, they are not looking for the 3 to 5 minute rolls. People that play the power press are not looking to buy in for, say, $500, color up $1,000 and leave doubled up. That's not what they're shooting for. People that play the power press are really shooting for anywhere between 5 to 10 times their buy-in. Right? Now, you might think, okay, if you buy in for $500 and you're starting with a $64 across, trying to make $2,500 to $5,000, you would think requires multiple excellent rolls, and it's certainly one way to do it if there's a stopping point within the power press to collect. But generally, the player is looking for that one monster roll. They're looking to catch that once a night roll. But the thing is, you don't necessarily need to hit a 50-minute roll. When we show the examples of these, when we showed it in our other videos, we showed the theoretical statistical likelihood of numbers rolling based on 15, 30, 45, and 60 rolls without a 7. And just the mathematical chances of how many numbers roll within that time frame. But people that play the power press, they're not looking to get all of their numbers up to table max. It would be wonderful if we did. I certainly would love that. But what we're really looking for is we're really looking for one number, just one number, that breaks those statistics. We've all seen on a craps roll, say, 4 5s come back to back to back to back, or 4 8s come out of the first 6 rolls, or something along those lines. So the person that's playing the power press is looking for a roll like that, something that has one number roll far more times than is statistically likely, and then maybe a couple extra beyond that. If we're starting out on a $10 table, now most places with a $10 table are going to have a table max of between $1,000 to $2,000 as far as the highest bet allowed. As we've shown in previous power press videos, all it takes is 6 to 7 hits of a number in order to be at table max and to have collected hundreds and hundreds of dollars in that. Now, what are some of the weaknesses? First, let's talk about the weaknesses of the power press. The primary weakness of the power press is on the average and even slightly above average rolls. Say those rolls that go 5 to 8 minutes. Right? For the most part, this player is going to lose, is not going to collect a single penny. That's the primary weakness of the power press, is that in general, the player will collect nothing, because they're always throwing more money in or putting all their money out onto the number, trying to get up to this table max as quickly as possible. Some of the examples, let's say this player's already in $64, right? They're already $64 in, okay? So let's say an 8 rolls. Well, if it 8 rolls, now they're going to be in even more money, because they're going to throw in the extra $4 necessary to take themselves up to $30. Okay? Then they're going to throw in another $1 the next time around so that they can go all the way up to 66. The next time around, they're going to throw in even more money and take themselves all the way up to 150. They have to throw in $7. Okay? 66 pays 77. That gives you $143 to work with. So they have to throw in $7, but they'll bring themselves all the way up to 150. Okay, so 3 hits of the 8, and they're at 150. Now, some power press players will look at this as not a stopping point, but a pausing point. If the 8 rolls that 4th time, they're going to go ahead and collect their $175. Because now they have covered the $76 that they're in so far, plus they basically have another $100, 99 bucks, but they basically have another shooter's worth of rolls. So, but other players are just going to collect the green and go all the way up to 300. All right, that's the 4th hit. 5th hit, they're at 600. The 6th hit, they're at 1,200. Now, if they're on a $1,000 table max at 1,200, after 6 hits, they're at the table max. Anything after that, they're just going to collect $1,400. Not bad, starting with $12 right there. If it's a $2,000 table max, then the next hit, the 7th hit, they're going to go up to 2,400, and then they start collecting. Either way, they're still collecting some blacks, but that way they'll push themselves up to table max. And that's the primary goal of the power presser. Get just one number up there to table max. Now, one of the advantages of the power press is, again, you could pick your pause point. You could pick your pause point. You could pick your stop point. I even know some players that will do a triple power press followed by a regression. They're not actually trying to get up to table max. They're just trying to get to a number so high that they're going to get paid in the blacks. Let's look at the 5 as an example of that. Okay, so they're already in the $10. They'll be in another $1. So when the 5 hits the first time, they're going to go to a green. When the 5 hits the second time, they're going to go all the way up to 60. Okay, so what does that 60 pay? That 60 pays 84 bucks. Pays 84 bucks. So the next time it hits, they throw in 60 or $6, 60. They throw in $6, right? So now they have 90 to work with, right? So what are they doing? They're going up to 150, right? 3 hits, and they go up to 150. So what's going to happen on the 4th hit? So on the 4th hit, if they're a regression type player, they're going to take their $210, go right back down to 10 bucks, and they're going to put $350 in their rail. So there's some players that will take the power press and only take it up to a certain point and then drop it right back down. There's nothing wrong with that method. Not at all. You're just trying to win a little bit less. This player, instead of trying to win $5,000 on their $500 buy-in, is probably just trying to win maybe $500 to $1,000. Because you're regressing down, you're never going to have these $1,000 hits. But you can have these $300 hits. And you get these $300 hits, you get a couple of those, and you're sitting pretty good. So that's why some players play the power press. That's some of the advantages and disadvantages behind the power press. I hope you guys find this interesting, illuminating, enlightening, entertaining, or at least just plain fun. Thank you, everybody, for watching. We will catch you guys next time. Bye now. Okay, everybody, and as promised, all the usual blah blah that I try and do at the beginning of the video, we're going to go ahead and put near the end of the video. And here we go. So thank you, everybody, for your usual patronage. All of you that are patrons of ours, we very, very much appreciate it. Thank you, everybody who's been buying us a cup of coffee. Love to say it's going to coffee right now, but this month with the entire family out for COVID, it's honestly going to Bill's and probably the kid's birthday in a week. But we definitely appreciate it. We're going to continue working on these live streams. I know you guys have seen some of them popping up. Just got to figure out the look of it, and some of the audio is still giving me issues. But hopefully we'll be getting those live streams and the craps tournaments going as soon as possible. Really just going to depend on scheduling. My schedule changed, Amy's schedule changed, kids' school schedule is fun. So once we figure out exactly how all those schedules are going to work, we'll let everybody know. And otherwise, please continue emailing us with anything you would like to see videoed. And again, thank you, everybody, for tuning in. We appreciate every single one of you guys. We'll catch you next time. Bye now. Hello everybody and welcome to Sin City Living. My name is Jason. I'll be bringing you today's video. Just had a few things I wanted to go over real fast. First, our usual shout out of appreciation to all of our patrons out there. We appreciate all those tips and support, and hope you guys are enjoying the videos that we put out for you guys exclusively every single week, including the How to Deal Craps instructional set that is ongoing. And if you're curious about it, go ahead and check the description of the video down below. And also, I wanted to go over, we've had a couple of questions about about this little neon light thing that we've been putting on some of our other videos. So if anybody's interested in one of these, just shoot us an email at sincityliving.lv@gmail.com. And so I did another test of our live stream, another attempt to do the live stream. So I now know that I have the right equipment, the right camera, the right programming, able to get all of that done. Unfortunately, what I did discover is that my computer was not strong enough, was not powerful enough to be able to encode and upload it as an actual live stream. So I'm going to continue tweaking with that, although it may turn out that I'm just going to have to wait until I can afford to buy a newer, more powerful computer for that. So that will be on the list. So it does look like live streaming may not be as upcoming as I was hoping. It's going to take us a little bit of time to generate that up. And otherwise, please make sure you email us with any questions, strategies, anything you would like us to video. We love shooting these videos for you guys. If not, I'm going to go straight into today's video. So for today's video, I want to talk about something that we had discussed that I mentioned in one of my other videos that we were going to talk about. So this might be a little bit of a shorter video because it's kind of a shorter subject, really. And that is working on the come out roll, having your bets work on the come out roll. And that goes to a couple different bets, or a couple of common bets. Obviously, every single bet can work or be turned off. In theory, some bets can't be turned off, but most of them on the come out roll, most of the main bets people have can. Now, place bets and hard ways are the main ones. With place bets, you could even lump in odds if you happen to have come bets, because on a come out roll, flat bets can never be turned off ever. There's never ever a time that a flat bet can be turned off once it has traveled to the point. But on a come out roll, odds are typically off. They're automatically off at just about every single casino out there. Hard ways work unless you call them off. And we will announce that 2 or 3 times. Hard ways working unless called off. Hard ways working unless called off. And then we'll announce it one more time as loud as we can. Hard ways working unless called off, because people aren't paying attention. They're yakking or whatever it may be. But then, in easy 6 rolls, we take their hard 6 down. No, it wasn't working. We announced it 3 times, so I'm sorry it was working, because we would have paid it if it hit. The thing is about this, there's nothing crooked going on with the casinos. We will do everything as fairly as possible. If you fail to acknowledge us when we say working unless called off, if it rolls and hits, then we're going to pay you. If it rolls and doesn't hit, then we're going to take it down. Or if it rolls and loses, we're going to take it down. So, place bets and the odds on come bets. Why are they turned off? Why are they automatically turned off on come out rolls? Well, the reason for that is because on a come out roll, you win right here. And the stick call is even 7 winner, or 11 winner. But we're focusing on the 7 because an 11 wouldn't affect these bets at all. 7 winner, 7. So that's the stick call. Wouldn't be much of a stick call if people got paid $10 but lost 54 or 135 or whatever they may be betting up here. Not much of a winner at that point. So these automatically are turned off. That's what I always tell people. This puck, the off on it, does not mean that the point is off. Back in the day, these were just black and white. The off means that anything up here that can be turned off is off. That includes odds on come bets, and that includes your place bets. Right, those are automatically off. They can be turned off. Anything up here is automatically off unless you choose to have it work. And that's the reason why, because that wins. It would just suck if that won and these lost. And a lot of players are, some are superstitious, but a lot of players just look at it as, why would I want to win on one and lose on the other? At least when there's a point, these all lose on the same number. Something rolls, half of this isn't going to win and half of it lose, or a portion isn't going to win and the rest of it lose.
if the point is marked and a 7 rolls, they all lose. So when the point is off, people don't like to have their bets set up in such a way that one small one will win and all the big ones will lose, or even just that any portion of their bet might lose. So that is the reason why these default to off. You have to tell us you want them working. Now the hard ways are a little bit different. Hard ways are automatically working unless you call them off. Pretty much everything in there is automatically working, always. Well, almost everything. The hard way is about the only thing that isn't. Everything else, if you wanted to say, if you tried to bet a $5 12 and then say, I turn my bet off, we would give you your $5 back. We don't turn those bets off. You took it down. That's different. Same thing with bets behind. If you say you want to turn off a lay, especially one that traveled, you want to turn off it, don't come, we're going to give it back to you because you can't turn it back on. So you're getting it back. Right? If you say I want my lay off, we're just going to give it back to you. That's the reason these are automatically off. As far as the hard ways go, back in the day, a lot of casinos would automatically turn them off. That's no longer the case. I can't really tell you why. Things just change over the decades as the game evolves. So now those are automatically working. So you have to be aware if you have hard ways, they're automatically working. If you don't specifically call them off, they are working. Period. Now, why do some people want their place bets working? Well, a couple different reasons for that. Some people are hyper aggressive and they want the additional roll in order to press their bets. So they want something to hit. When we set the point, if we were to say set the point as an 8, they want that $14 to be able to use it to press their bets. If they're on the pass line, typically they're going to take that plus this bet and they're going to use it to press other stuff. They're probably going to get a 4 and then they're going to use it to press something else. So they don't want to be a beat behind. Some people want to, well, that's not even a beat behind because most people don't even start until this point. That's more they want to be a beat ahead. They don't want to miss out on a potential payout. Again, a few different reasons for that. They're aggressive, so they want that extra money. Option number 2, another reason that some people may do that is that some people may look at the average roll. Someone's going to come 1 in 6 times, so a lot of times someone's going to roll the dice and only roll 2 or 3 times before a 7. Maybe 4 or 5 times before a 7. So let's say somebody rolls 4 times, sets the point, rolls 2 more times, rolls 3 more times, and then hits a 7. So you could have gotten 3 payouts on these, or you could have gotten 4 payouts if you were working. So that's a 33% additional payouts. So some people will look at it that way. A lot of people are going to disagree with that. I will tell you that honestly, I don't work on the come out roll most of the time, but that's just me. And finally, the last reason is the same thing I say with hard ways, because for hard ways, I will always work on hard ways. The dice don't know it's a come out roll. And if I have my hard ways for say $1, it's $1, it's $4. I don't care. I'm usually doing that for fun. It's going to be a double parlay. I'm going to parlay it to 10 on the 6 and 8 $8 on the 4 and 10. Then if it hits again, I'm going to parlay it again. Parlay my 6 and 8 to 100. Now if that hits, I'm going to collect most of it. But if I do the hard ways, it's a double parlay. Now if one of them has parlayed, there's a chance I may turn that one and that one only off. But then I'm likely to hop it for a sufficient amount to equal the payout if it were to hit. But most of the time, I'm just going to let it work. I'm going to let my hard ways work. Again, the dice don't know that it's a come out roll. So that's all a matter of style. But there's really no right or wrong with this. It does seem like most really good rolls of the dice, most long 20, 30, 40-minute rolls of the dice do include a couple of winner 7s while the point is off. So that little bit of luck that just happens to come when the point is off. So that's one reason not to work your bets. But I've seen plenty of rolls that it would have been 20, 30 rolls if you included the come out roll. Plus some strategies, such as say the power press strategy, is pretty much predicated on trying to have one number roll more times than is statistically likely. You really want to just get one number up the table max, so you may not want to miss out on those come out rolls. Those come out rolls can make a huge, huge, huge difference. I had a roll the other day where somebody just had a hard way, and they had parlayed it, and they had parlayed it up to it was a hard 10. They started out with $3. They threw in an extra $1 when it hit and parlayed it up to $25. On the come out roll, they had it turned off. Hard 10 roll to set the point. the very next, the player hit the 10 easy, so their hard 10 came down, but they had parlayed another one, a hard 6 or hard 8. I don't remember which one. And damned if that didn't come out on the come out roll as well. So strange things can happen. So that's why some people will work their bets. It's not super common. It's very, very rare. I've seen it. I probably see it once a day. But, I'm also seeing hundreds of players, so definitely less than 1% of players will work it. But again, there's no right or wrong answer on that one. So I hope you guys find this interesting or enlightening, entertaining, at least interesting. We appreciate every single one of you guys. Thank you very, very, very much for watching. We will catch you next time. Bye now. So, as I promised, I wanted to go over very briefly our upcoming attempts at a third test live stream. So what's happened so far? The first test live stream just flat didn't work. The problem that I had was was an equipment problem. I had an equipment problem in that the equipment that I was using to translate the camera into streamable video to the computer required a better USB port than the computer I was using at the time. So that one just flat failed because it would not translate into the computer. The computer would not pick it up, would not read it, so I wasn't able to live stream it. So then, as I was looking through, because I'm a little bit of a tech head, as I was looking through all of my other stuff, because I do have 4 laptops here and 3 computers, I did find one that actually did have the newer style USB port. Unfortunately, it was actually my oldest laptop, but I figured, what the heck, let me give it a shot. What's the worst that can happen? And this time around, when I fired everything up, the video was actually translating onto the computer, so things were looking better. But then when I attempted to live stream, the computer was not powerful enough to be able to translate it and then upload it sufficiently. So it basically just uploaded a blank screen for the live stream. So what I am going to have to do is, and I'm already looking into all of my options, I'm going to upgrade my computer so I can add, what, a 7th, 8th computer to my household. And I'm going to go much, much higher, and I'm going to get a computer that is far more than I need for this, far, far, far more powerful than I need for this. That way, any future upgrades that I may do, the computer will be able to handle it. So unfortunately, this computer is going to cost me about 25% more, about 25% of what I've already laid out in all the equipment for this channel. So it wasn't something that I could just instantly buy. I'm probably looking at Black Friday or Cyber Monday. So hopefully I have it within the next couple of weeks, and then I'll do another test live stream and see if I can go from there. So I will definitely do at least one weekly live stream on our Patreon because they're the ones that are really helping us get this computer. And the other equipment that I'm going to get, because I figure if I'm buying the computer, I might as well buy the most high-end capture cards and things along those lines, get everything as good as possible, and then hopefully eventually get a better microphone for you guys. So yeah, that's where we stand on the live stream. As soon as I have the computer and I do the test, which will be in a few weeks, like I said, I've got to order it in a week or two, then I have to wait for it to ship. Plus we have probably the biggest event of the year coming up, the NFR National Finals Rodeo. So I'm basically working 2 weeks straight, as is my wife. So not going to have a whole lot of time. But once we get all that under control, then we'll figure out. There's been some schedule changes to myself, some schedule changes to my wife, and some upcoming schedule changes to my wife as well. So hopefully we can get all the scheduling figured out so I know when I'll be able to live stream as well. My initial plan of Thursdays at 6 o'clock is already out the window. I'm at work at that point now. So we will get it all figured out, and we will let you guys know, I promise. And otherwise, I hope you guys have found this interesting, enlightening, illuminating, or at least just plain fun. And we will catch you guys next time. Bye now.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Sin City Living. My name is Jason. I'll be bringing you today's episode. As always, we want to thank all of our fans, our sponsors, our patrons. We appreciate all of your guys' support. Everyone that's bought us a cup of coffee, been greatly appreciated. We've had a rough couple of weeks here in the family, been out of work for a week and a half, coming up on 2 weeks, thanks to our old friend COVID running through us. I don't want to take up a whole lot of time with the usual spiel, so all of you guys that are interested in what's going on with Sin City Living and what we plan on doing in the future with our live streams and upcoming events, please stick around to the end of the video or skip to the end of the video and watch. I will put most of that stuff in the ending spiel, and I will try and update it every week or two with more news. Otherwise, that being said, we're just going to go ahead and jump straight into today's video. So for today's video, I want to talk about another real player, real strategy. And I can't really call it a strategy. I don't know exactly what he was thinking when he came up with this, but he might be one of the worst dice players I've ever seen. So my introduction to this player, and he's a semi-regular, we recognize him, or some of us recognize him when he comes in. And his, like I said, it's a strategy really that sticks out in the head more than anything else. So my introduction to him when I come up to the table is he has a don't pass. I believe it was like a $15 don't pass. And he bets the field. We had a point. Don't remember what it was. He did no lay. And then he did, I want to say it was 81 across. Now, as he's throwing, he keeps throwing. If I recall correctly, he threw a couple of horn numbers. It was a really quick roll when I sat down. He threw a couple of horn numbers. Then he threw like an 8 or something like that. And then he threw a winning point. Now, once he threw the winning point, he switched things up. Now, again, he was the shooter. So that's what made it kind of interesting, was how he switched things up. Or the fact that he switched things up. Thank you, everybody, by the way, for the coffees. Very appreciated. And please email us some strategies, some questions, something you'd like to see us film. I'd love to get some more emails from you guys. So he hits the winning point, and he takes all his bets down, goes to the pass line, does just a pass line, for, again, $15, sets a point, didn't matter what it was, and almost immediately threw a 7 out. And I'm like, okay, well, he started with the don't pass, and he switched to a pass line because he made a point. I see people do that. They'll play from the don't pass, but if they make their point, they'll go, okay, maybe I'm about to go on a good roll, so they switch over to the pass line. I see that. Fairly often. But as we continued through the roll, he got more and more baffling. So we switched to another shooter. He does a pass line bet, but he bets a two-way 4 and a two-way 10, but he's heavy on the hard 4. So he's got $2 on the hard 4. Like, okay, that's, some people will do that. It was kind of strange to me because the previous point wasn't a 4 or a 10. That's typically when people will hop that stuff. But okay, that's legit. So the roll starts going. Player sets a point. Don't remember exactly what the point was. Doesn't matter. And he doesn't bet anything else, but he bets this two-way 4 and this two-way 10 every single roll. Every single roll. Occasionally he throws in like a C&E or an 11-12, but this 5 action is every single roll. So I just kind of got curious. When I notice someone is betting the same thing every single roll, that's a one-time bet. I get kind of curious, and I just can't help myself. In the back of my head, I start to keep track. I did this all the time when I would even count on, if I was dealing on this side, I would even count on the other side if it was slow enough. So I'm kind of keeping track as he does his Yo's on occasion and his 12s and this bet every single time with no other bets. And by the time he hit one, and when he hits on a low side, he gets paid $11 because he has 5 action, right? So by the time he hit and got paid $11, he was $73 invested in his hot bet, in his basically craps roulette is what I call it, because you're playing roulette on the craps table. We're slightly
almost the exact same odds and slightly worse and significantly worse payouts. So on his craps roulette bet here that he's doing every single roll, finally gets paid $11 on $73 in action that he's bet and lost up to this point. And before I get to the next part of his strategy, I do want to say I continue to keep track. The next time he won $11, he was somewhere around $121 invested into it. And when he finally hit a hard four, he was over $200 invested in it, and he got paid $56. So once it was all said and done, by the end of his trip to the tables, if I take out what he had won from what he had put in, he had ended up costing himself over $200 on this every single time hot bet. But this isn't even the sole part of his strategy, because then after a little while, he switched it up, or not switched it up, he added again, and he went back to his 81 across. Only when something hits, let's say the 6 hits. If the 6 hits, he would come down, right? He would bring himself down. So he makes a $21 profit, plus he gets his $18 back. And he would do this, I would say, somewhere between 80 to 90% of the time. If something hit, he would come down. But then 1 in 10, 1 in 5 times, he would either same bet, or he would actually press it. But there was no rhyme or reason. It was just kind of randomly all over the place. But if he did same bet, or if he did press it, the next time he would come down. So as I'm sitting here watching him play, I was trying to figure out where his winning situation was, where his winning condition was. He's costing himself $5 a roll on his hoppers, and every so often it's going to hit, but for the most part, he was costing himself $5 a roll, and he would pull down his bets after they hit once. So, you know, if he catches a roll where the 7 out comes after the first roll, he made 21 in profit, plus he got his 18 back, but he still has 43 here. So he loses $22 plus that 15 right there on the pass line, so he loses $37. Now, if he gets 2 hits of a number, then he'll make $42 while losing $45. So he's losing $3 plus his $5. So he's losing over $50 there. So where exactly is his winning spot? He's not looking for the same number to hit multiple times so he can get paid better and better. He's not really looking for anything, and he seems so mystified by the fact that he lost. And he loses every single time he plays. But the reason he loses every single time he plays is because he's not trying to win. Like, there is actually no spot where he wins. I would say his win condition would be hitting that 1 in 36 chance of a hard 4, hitting that, say, 5 times in a row. That might be his winning condition. Otherwise, he's got no spot. He's got no spot like the 10 rolls out of 7 or 8 rolls out of 7, because if he manages to hit every single one of these numbers, theoretically he would make a little bit of a profit. But now his bets have come down, and he's losing $5 every single roll on his hoppers, and then eventually on the 7 out he'll lose that pass line. So again, he's got no spot where he can win. Like, he didn't actually think through his strategy of how can I win, how can I make money. So a lot of us consider him one of the worst dice players we've ever seen, just because he just really has no real strategy in order to actually win money. Just has a strategy to lose money theoretically slower. I think that might be how he came across the strategy. Like, a lot of strategies are designed to lose money slower, but he actually loses money pretty damn quick. So I don't know. I just thought you guys might find this interesting, illuminating, enlightening, just plain fun. And thank you everybody for watching. We'll catch you next time. Bye now. Okay, everybody, and as promised, all the usual blah blah that I try and do at the beginning of the video, we're going to go ahead and put near the end of the video. And here we go. So thank you everybody for your usual patronage. All of you that are patrons of ours, we very, very much appreciate it. Thank you everybody who's been buying us a cup of coffee. Love to say it's going to coffee right now, but this month with the entire family out for COVID, it's honestly going to Bill's and probably the kid's birthday in a week.
But we definitely appreciate it. We're going to continue working on these live streams. I know you guys have seen some of them popping up. Just got to figure out the look of it, and some of the audio is still giving me issues. But hopefully we'll be getting those live streams and the craps tournaments going as soon as possible. Really just going to depend on scheduling. My schedule changed, Amy's schedule changed, kids' school schedule is fun. So once we figure out exactly how all those schedules are going to work, we'll let everybody know. And otherwise, please continue emailing us with anything you would like to see videoed. And again, thank you everybody for tuning in. We appreciate every single one of you guys. We'll catch you next time. Bye now. Hello everybody and welcome to Sin City Living. My name is Jason. I'll be bringing you today's episode. As always, we want to thank all of our fans, our sponsors, our patrons. We appreciate all of your guys' support. Everyone that's bought us a cup of coffee, been greatly appreciated. We've had a rough couple of weeks here in the family, been out of work for a week and a half, coming up on 2 weeks, thanks to our old friend COVID running through us. I don't want to take up a whole lot of time with the usual spiel, so all of you guys that are interested in what's going on with Sin City Living and what we plan on doing in the future with our live streams and upcoming events, please stick around to the end of the video or skip to the end of the video and watch. I will put most of that stuff in the ending spiel, and I will try and update it every week or two with more news. Otherwise, that being said, we're just going to go ahead and jump straight into today's video.
What's going on, guys? I'm Louie here from Sin City Living, and today I'm going to be going over some of the worst craps players. Okay, and when I say worst, I don't mean them as a person. You know, like, come on, give me the dice, or oh, you always taking shots, or oh, hey, you did this, you did that. I'm talking about overall play style. Okay, and this is just off of the top of my head. That I can think of. I'm sure if I really put thought into it, I'd list. Now, don't think I'm just going to bag on everybody over here. No, I'm also going to do a separate video on my personal favorites styles to deal to. So, when I think of the worst people and to deal to, like in terms of play style, I think of take me down, put me up. Take me down, put me up. Take me down, put me up. And one, it's horrible because it's taxing for the dealers to just, okay, do you want me to just turn you off instead? No, I want to come all the way down, right? Okay, fine, come all the way down. Then the next roll, put me all the way back up. Why do that? Especially in the middle of a hot roll. You're missing out on all this money. You're hidden, you know, or it's just it baffles me. Or the turn me off. Turn me off, okay. We're in the middle of a 30-minute roll. Turn me off. I'm off to the end of the roll. Okay, so you're going to be off, you know, you're off, and you're not making any money. Meanwhile, these people are over here just raking in the money. They're collecting off this 30-minute roll, and you're sitting there, you're off because of superstition. Don't get me wrong, some superstition may be good, may not be good. Maybe you have a gut feeling you want to go with. Maybe you go off for a roll, a die goes off the table or something. Maybe it lands in the bankroll or something. It's a no roll, it's too tall or something along those lines. Off for one roll, somebody buys in. Okay, no issue. But if the table is just hot, I'm talking about these dice are on fire, and the dealers are just giving it away at this point. Why are you turning your bets off? Or why would you regress? I don't understand it. Okay, maybe you started off with let's say 540 across or something like that. You hit a couple times, you make your money back. okay, you want to regress to 135 across, but then you start going crazy pressing from there. Okay, I can understand it. Now you got your initial investment back, and now you just want to whoom, take it all the way up. Take me all the way up. Now you're at table max a couple minutes later, and you're just raking it in at this point. Another play style that I very much dislike is the same bet if the same number is hitting, or just it's a hot roll. It's a hot roll, and you're still everybody. The dice have been it's the same shooter for 15 minutes straight, and the dice are moving quick. You started off with 135 across. You're still at 135 across, or you took 110 inside. You got the same $25 on that 9, and that 9 hit 10 times during that roll, and you didn't press it once. Come on. Oh my goodness. Why do that? The potential is there. Don't get me wrong. The same bet player, they're going to make money. There's nothing, but I mean, if you got your initial investment back and then some, let's say it hit 5 times. Okay, what is that? Okay, 70, 140, 175. Okay, you got 175 back. You got your whole your whole across back, and then some. Why not just press the number a little bit? I don't understand it. It drives me nuts. It drives me nuts. What's another play style that it's just awful? Another play style that I find to be just awful, is hedging. Hedging, that's another one. When people try to hedge their bets, that's just okay. Jason and I have sat in here for hours at a time and done the math and written down on paper for hours on end, and done like whole labs basically on the dice table, just trying to figure something out. Prop bets, pass line, fields, DC, don't pass, come, direct lays, buys, place bets, hard ways, hop bets even, and different bankrolls, different amounts, flat bets, whatever, different odds, and it just never works out. All right, there's always some kind of disadvantage. Okay, there's always an if. Well, what if this hits? Oh, well, when this hits, I'm wiped out. Or there's always a little bit of give. It's never just a full-on hedge. Like, hey, this is gonna protect me 100%. Okay, like this is gonna 100% protect me, and I could just bring, get the money, get money, collect. It doesn't work that way. There's always some kind of give. A do-we-don't player. I don't like do-we-don'ts. What I mean by do-we-don't is not if somebody's on the pass line and they're doing just DCs, or if they're on the don't pass and they're doing comebacks. Not that. I'm talking about they bet on the don't pass and the pass line. Okay, why do that? Why do that? I mean, you cannot win that way. You just can't. You actually lose that way. Why? Because you're a push on the 12. You push on the 12. Okay, you bet $1.12 every roll. Well, what if that 12 never rolls? You're constantly pushing. Boom, push. Come on now. No, it doesn't. It just doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. And I've heard arguments in terms of how you would rate a player, how you would rate that player. It's up for debate on if you're a supervisor, how you would rate the play. I guess it all depends on the house's policies, or floor or boxman's discretion, I guess. I don't know. That drives me nuts. That's a terrible play style. But the worst play styles are when they do these very odd lays. They don't want to lay, let's say, 1200 behind the 6. They don't want to lay 1200 behind the 6. They want to lay 1296 behind the 6. And they want you to figure out the vig. And then they progress, or not progress. What is the word I'm looking for? I guess it is progressive. A progressive don't player. When they do direct lays, that play style just is terrible. Especially when I have to figure out the vig. It's just awful. But not only that, I mean, if the number keeps hitting, why are you just chasing it? The number's hitting. Now you want to double your bet. Okay, now you're at a point where you're just chasing it just to get back just to break even, or get back your last bet, or your last bet, or your last bet. So you're doubling it, you know. It drives me crazy. Hot bets. Somebody that just comes and bets prop action. That will drive me crazy. It's super. That's the worst. That's one of the worst play styles I can think of. Is somebody that will only come to the table to bet prop action. If you're gonna do that, you might as well go play roulette. 100%. Your odds on roulette are higher. The chances of you hitting, or the payouts, I should say, because what it is, let's say doubles your roulette. 36. You got 38 numbers. You have 38 numbers, and if something hits, you get paid 35 to 1, right? So you bet direct, you get 35 to 1. There's 36 combinations of the dice, you have 36 numbers, right? On craps. How much do you get paid? The highest payout? 30 to 1. The payout, you get paid less. You're betting all this prop action like you're playing roulette. You might as well just go play roulette. In all honesty, you're gonna get now my blood's boiling just thinking about it. So now I have to do the math. Okay. Let's see. Okay. So on craps, 36 combinations of the dice, right? You have 36 whatever. And we pay 30 to 1. So you get 0.83. 83%. You get paid 83%, okay? So the house collects that whatever that 17%. We have a 17% in our favor. Now, 35 over 38. Yeah. You get paid 92. You get 92%. Okay. Of the house only has an edge of 8%. Okay. 17%. 8%. You get paid more. Your odds, you know, and the odds are better in roulette if you're going to play hot bets and do all that stuff. Your odds are way better on roulette. Just go play roulette. Okay. It makes no sense to me. It just drives me crazy. It drives me crazy. That play style is just the worst. And it's not the player. I've had some awesome players in terms of they like to bet for the dealers, or they're just overall they're nice. They're very nice. They come by, they don't complain, they don't make an issue of things. If they lose, they lose. They're just there to have a good time, okay? They're there, but come on. That play style is just horrible. And it has, like I said, it has nothing to do with the individual that plays it. It's just the style of play that I don't like. I can like the person all day. I can sit there and have a conversation with them and know them on a first name basis, maybe even on the last name basis. But it's just disgusting. It's just terrible. Go play roulette. Do I mind don't players? I don't mind it at all. I don't mind it all. No. The don't player. No, I'm not. I can't sit there and attack people personally on this. So I was gonna get at the don't player that will stand next to the stickman when the don't come area is wide open for the taking, and they leave it in the comments, say DC. I hate that. But that's more so in individuals rather than their play style. I have no issues dealing with to people with who play the DC. just overall play styles, the certain strategies. Regress. I don't like regressive strategies. It's terrible. You're hitting and then you're taking it down or you're lowering it. Why? Why do that? It doesn't make any sense. Or the people that bet across, they'll hit a number, take it down. Something else says take it down. Why? And then that one hole just keeps hitting. It's like, why'd you take it down? There was one I just thought of, but I lost it. I just lost it. What? Not regressive. Is it regressive? Ugh. There's a lot of play out there. A lot of play styles that they are just horrible. Like I said, and it's nothing to do with the people that play them. It's just the style of play is horrible. I know I sound repetitive, but I'm sure Jason can agree with me. There's just some play styles that they're just overall bad. Ooh, I remember when they press the sister number, quote unquote sister number, right? But they don't press the number that's hitting. 8 hits, press my 6. 8 hits, press my 6. Okay, press your 6. I'm pressing your 6. That 6 never hits. Press the number that's hitting. What are you doing? Oh, the 10 hits. Press my 4. Okay, well, what about your 10? No, I don't want that 10 hit, but press my 4. Okay. 10 hits again. Press my 4. Then I understand. Okay. Then you want to, let's say it hits. Then okay, then you get something back. But I don't understand that. Press the number that hits. Or press them both. That will drive me crazy. And then the person that does that bets in $3 units. You got 100 and you got 135 across. Press me up $3. Why? Why? Why would you do that? Why? Or somebody that just, I don't understand it. Some of these strategies, like I said, it's nothing against the players, but there's just some strategies that are they're downright awful. I don't like to deal it. Other people don't like to deal it. It's annoying. And especially the people that bet like odd amounts that we see once every blue moon. Okay? Or they'll come with their pen and paper and they know what it pays and we have to figure it out. It's like, okay, yeah, we'll figure it out, but don't come and be like, oh, it pays this much, or you don't know how much it pays. No, you probably took half an hour to think of that payout when it takes me an extra 10 seconds to think about it. Give me a couple seconds. I think about it in 10 seconds. It's going to take you however long. Don't do that. Come on, guys. Why can't you just bet normal? I want 4,000 4,840 on my 6 hits. Press it up to the like what? What are you doing? Jeez Louise. I want 1,500 in it. and $72 on my 6. I want this. Oh, jeez Louise. Why do that? Because you want to show how smart you are? Come on, guys. Like I said, I'm attacking players here now. I shouldn't be doing that. But that play style, I'd say. Like I said, maybe the guy's nice. Maybe the player's real nice and he's taking really good care of you. Maybe he doesn't know what he's doing. But what's another play style that I don't like? Another play style I do not like is when somebody sees or hears something and they want in on it not knowing what it is and they just start betting odd amounts. And some dealers won't book that action. Like, somebody throws in like, I want a $23 horn bet. I know some dealers will be like, either they just say no bet, you got 20, or give me an extra $1. No, I don't want to give you the extra. Like, no, I don't want the 3. I want the whole 23. Okay. Me personally, if they really want it, I'll book it. I'll let them know, hey, you know, it's 24 is proper, 20 is proper. No, I want 23. Okay, if you really want it, I'll give it to you. But thinking about this stuff, it's blood boiling. But there's just some horrible play styles out there. Like I said, it has nothing to do with the individuals that play them. There's some awesome people that I deal to that are really, really awesome, but their play styles are just horrible. They miss out on these long rolls. They catch a long roll, but they don't make any money. Or they take their bets down and start all the way over. It's like, dude, well, I don't understand it. And maybe it's not for me to understand. I'm there. I'm gonna do my job. I'm gonna deal regardless. But it's not ideal. I'll deal to you, but and I'll keep my opinion. And I keep my opinions to myself at work, of course, because I'm at work and I have to keep it professional. I'll keep my opinions to myself, and I won't say, "Hey, man, your play style sucks. You could be making so much more money." I'll ask, and every now and then, do you want to press? Are you sure? But if they don't want it, then I'm not going to hassle them. I'm not gonna twist their arm. It's their money. They're more than welcome to play how they like. Am I going to judge them for it? No, I don't judge them. I don't know them personally. If I do know them personally, I'm not going to. On a personal basis, what I mean is, if they're my friend, I'm not going to deal to them. But if they're like a regular and they're good to me, I may ask, like, hey, I'll ask about their play style. Hey, so what are you looking to win? Maybe some people just don't want to win. Maybe some people, they just like playing like that, and they're having fun, having a good time. No issues with that whatsoever. You're out. It's your money. You spend it the way you want to. That's about it. Like I said, a lot of play styles out there that are just horrible, though. I rambled on enough. I'm pretty sure I've said the same thing multiple times throughout this conversation. But yeah, I'm Louie here from Sin City Living, and don't forget to leave a like, comment, and hit that subscribe button. I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye.
Okay, everybody, and as promised, all the usual blah blah that I try and do at the beginning of the video, we're going to go ahead and put near the end of the video. And here we go. So thank you, everybody, for your usual patronage. All of you that are patrons of ours, we very, very much appreciate it. Thank you, everybody who's been buying us a cup of coffee. Love to say it's going to coffee right now, but this month with the entire family out for COVID, it's honestly going to Bill's and probably the kid's birthday in a week. But we definitely appreciate it. We're going to continue working on these live streams. I know you guys have seen some of them popping up. Just got to figure out the look of it, and some of the audio is still giving me issues. But hopefully we'll be getting those live streams and the craps tournaments going as soon as possible. Really just going to depend on scheduling. My schedule changed, Amy's schedule changed, kids' school schedule is fun. So once we figure out exactly how all those schedules are going to work, we'll let everybody know. And otherwise, please continue emailing us with anything you would like to see videoed. And again, thank you everybody for tuning in. We appreciate every single one of you guys. We'll catch you next time. Bye now.